Agustin. I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah, appreciate you having me here, man.
And
It's an honor.
it's been a time. It's been a long time. 10 years
And
since I last saw you, I
uh,
think, right? 2014?
yeah, so 10, 11 years, yeah.
8th grade, bro.
Dang, bro.
So we're gonna catch up basically.
Pretty much, bro, yeah.
They go for like 3 hours.
Okay.
We don't have to, well, yeah, they go for 3 hours. So I usually just try to tell people, to my longest, I did my longest pod, was it Saturday? I did it.
For real, how long?
It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. We did it in Balboa.
Oh, we're gonna beat that today, man.
And I got sunburned, man. So I don't know if you can see me, but I'm a little bit red.
Oh yeah, you are, dude.
Yeah,
You get sunburned?
I put vitamin E. I just Googled it. I got some. I didn't put no sunblock, nothing.
Yeah. That's
So
why
right
you're
now
red,
it's gonna the sun's gonna set, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I got sunburned, man. But
Dang, man.
let me just start off with asking you the question I ask everyone.
Okay.
How has 2025 been? We're 6 months in. We're at the half point. How has your year been?
Well, start off by saying this, man. I'm truly blessed. I'll tell you that. Well, last year, back in October, I got married, happily married, and God blessed me with a beautiful wife. And so I've just been enjoying marriage, married life pretty much for 8 months now.
Yeah.
So it's been a blessing, man. It's been awesome, honestly. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna get there soon, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there soon.
Hey, well, hopefully, man.
Yeah, it's been for me, my year. That's one of my goals, obviously, to get married.
For sure.
And it's been a little challenging 2025 for me because I was searching for jobs. I was looking in the Redlands,
Pinelli.
yeah, up there, LA too, anywhere in California. At one point I was just wanting to do San Diego.
For sure.
And then I think I told you before, when we were talking, like one of the first few times, last year I was just waiting to get sent to my missionary.
Oh, right.
But that took a little bit longer than I thought. It was taking a while, so I kind of didn't want to keep waiting, and definitely marriage was something that I wanted to do, and so I couldn't have the job, basically, you understand?
No,
or I didn't want to be in a position. This was my reason. I didn't want to be in a position where I start a job, 2 weeks, then I get sent and I have to tell them, hey, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So I was doing a part-time right here on El Cajon Boulevard. It's a business improvement association. Every community has a maintenance district, so they all kind of take care of the community. They help out the small businesses there. They help with cleaning, power wash, things like that.
Wow.
So I was
nice.
I was like, well, I have a part-time, so I could save up from there. But for me to get like a full-time job, knowing that I might get sent like maybe in like a week or two or something like that, I just said, well, maybe let's not do that commitment. But then time kept passing on, and I said, man, well, I want to start saving up. And, the economy is,
Dude, tell me
we
about
live in probably, according to some studies, the most expensive city in the nation right now. And I just thought, nah, I've been waiting for a year. It wasn't an easy decision, but I talked to my pastor, and he gave me some advice. He told me, hey, look, it's not like it's gonna be the end of it.
No, yeah.
You can always do that once you're married and all that. So I said, yeah, well, let's continue with the process of life.
For sure.
And let's get to that point first, and then let's start moving. Because you just never know. It can take now it could be 2 years, in the same position. So I was like, let's move, and if it's meant, God will provide. God will put me in that situation again.
God's will is God's will,
And it might not be my time right now to go out and do my missionary work. It might be later on. You understand? So.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It was a tough decision, and then this year, so I kind of had to did have to kind of. What's it called? I take back my application, and kind of told him, hey, in the future, I'll be there. But
just want to focus on
right now, I told him, hey, I'm trying to get married, so I have to work, and
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was waiting for a year, man, and I thought it was gonna be a little bit faster. It just, I guess the process just took a little bit more. But anyways,
Yeah.
there's a couple of my friends that were also signed up, and it was taking them also close. I was already a year waiting. They were maybe like
Really?
8 months.
Dang.
So it turned out great for one of them. He got sent last May, or
Mhm.
that a couple weeks ago. Actually, like
For
four
sure.
weeks ago, a month ago. And so this year I started running, like hitting the ground running.
Mhm.
I had a couple interviews. Oh, and then I was doing city jobs interviews. So it's like 3 interviews, and a couple of jobs up there were telling me, okay, let's have you for a second interview, and then
Dang, man.
let's meet the director.
Mhm.
And the only thing that sucked was that there was a time when they just sent me an email, hey, we're canceling the recruitment process.
Really?
So that that sucked, man. I was getting my hopes up. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna look for an apartment, studio, whatever up there. Have family up there, like
Dang.
not all the way in Redlands, but
Close by at least.
Paris,
Oh, Paris.
Paris,
Yeah, Paris. Yeah.
and I
By
was thinking
Temecula.
maybe I can live there and just drive up there,
Yeah, it's not that far from there. Yeah. For like in what?
maybe like an hour.
An hour. Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
get less traffic up there, man. Trust me.
yeah. So it wouldn't be too bad. But that happened twice,
Really, dude?
and the last hopes that I had was and you know what, one of the things, I don't know how it's been for you in the
Mhm.
job market, but they just didn't even tell me, hey, we're canceling the recruitment. I right now I just said they sent me an email, but that
Mhm.
was actually a lie. Like I had to call and
Yeah.
say, hey,
Just
well,
ask.
any updates? Any updates? What was going on?
For
And they just
sure.
said, no, yeah, we're canceling it. And recently I asked again, and they
Mhm.
said, no, just look at our website and the position might pop
That,
up again. So I said, well, you know what? Screw it.
yeah. When they start like just saying excuses, excuse after excuse, man. That's like that's
Yeah.
like they're just trying to like play it off or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
brush it off a little bit, but
It's
yeah.
HR that I was in contact
Uh,
with, so they know how to talk.
Ah,
They didn't have that
man,
training
yeah.
before.
HR is annoying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there, but
So
that's good, man. Hey, well, at least you're trying to yeah moving forward, dude.
moving forward. I'm still waiting for Poway. Hopefully I get that. That would be the best case.
For
Um, they just said they were gonna go with another candidate, but I made it
are
to
you
the
serious?
last round. It was me and someone else, and I was ready to go.
Mhm.
And I think the other person wasn't gonna start till June. This was back in April. I was like, I'm ready to go right now.
Man, dude.
And
And look at us now. We're in June already.
we're in June right now,
Oh.
so I'm probably gonna hear by the end of this month if yes or no for sure.
Mhm.
But right now it's not looking too good over there, so I just MTS.
MTS,
And
yeah.
taking the hard way, not gonna lie, you have to start as a trolley operator, and then you do a 11-week course
Mhm.
training, and then 6-month probation. After 6 months, they tell you you can basically apply wherever you want.
Wow.
So they have a planning department. So that's my goal,
It's
man.
your next move, man.
So that's why when I was trying to schedule with you, I was like unsure, man, because you have to, if every week there's a test on Monday, and
Oh.
if you fail or like, that's
Yeah.
it.
You gotta
You're
brush
cut.
up on
And honestly,
things.
there was a part of me that was thinking, I kind of want to fail so I can have more time, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But
sometimes, man, when you gotta like face something or deal with something, sometimes very important in your life, like you want to avoid it because obviously you just don't want to deal with it. But there's gonna be a time where you just have to do what you gotta do and
yeah,
do what's right for you, and just at the end of the day, deal with it, bro. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So,
they pay good.
mhm.
They pay 24 starting,
Man, it's not
and
bad,
then
bro.
after you finish 30,
Wow.
they give you a bunch of hours, man. Some dude that was already qualified, he was telling me, yeah, my shift is tomorrow is 4 a.m. to
Oh man.
3 p.m.
Yeah,
11
man.
hours.
4 a.m.
So
Yeah, I don't miss those days, man. I used to go in at 5
right
to
now,
go to work.
yeah.
That's no fun, man.
So you have any? What are some of your goals for this year?
For this year, man, honestly, well, my number one goal,
Yeah.
like as of right now, is honestly just like get closer to God, man.
Okay.
Because especially what's going on right now around the world, I'm trying to get political, but I'm just saying
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything that's going on, and we see the signs, and you know, but you gotta focus on yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and just like, well, I'm gonna put God first and see where he goes. But honestly, like my goal is to I want to own a ranch.
Hey, hey,
Dude, I
I'm
want to
there
own
with
a
you.
ranch,
I'm
bro.
there with you,
You know what I
man.
mean? Like, I mean, it sounds funny, but dude, I just want to I want to have my
Yeah.
own ranch and it's this and that. But that's like, dude, that's
In the future, into
that's
the
in the
future.
future, man. That's like that's something that's like, dude, like, are you serious? Like, is that what you really want? I'm like, yeah, that's what I really want, man.
I'm there
Yeah.
with you, man.
Yeah, it's like,
For example, we're here in Old Town, man.
oh yeah, for
I love
sure.
to own this house back here, man.
Bro, it's a beautiful home, man. Look at the fine architecture. It's beautiful. You don't see homes like that anymore.
You know what type of house it is?
No, what's happening?
Christian house.
Oh yeah.
Hey, hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dude,
Nice.
Old Town was I'm glad you said let's do it in Old Town. I was thinking somewhere else, but I'm glad you said Old Town because I was so detached from Old Town. I mean,
Really?
I remember. Do you remember when we went to? I
Where?
used to always come right because we orchestra with Mr. Duncan.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
would always
orchestra.
perform here. Were you in advance?
No. But I mean, I had a couple friends. I mean, you and then remember David.
David,
Bro, David, curly hair David.
David Diaz.
Yeah, David Diaz. He was
He's double D.
double D. Yeah,
Anyway.
double D. Yeah, he's one of my good friends. And
You still in contact with him?
yeah, man. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, like I said, bro. Like I mean, ever since I got married, I just been focusing on my wife.
But
my
it's like
family.
every
But,
now
like,
and then.
Yeah, I mean, I reach out to him, when I can. But last time I heard from him, he was in Georgetown. He was in Washington.
Oh damn.
Yeah, DC. So
What is he up to? Do you know?
I don't know, man.
I feel
don't
like if
even
he's
know,
in
bro.
Georgetown, he might be like in the political sector.
Yeah, I mean,
I would
especially out
assume.
there. Yeah, especially out there.
I would
yeah.
assume.
But yeah, but I mean, he told me he's doing well, man. He had a full-on scholarship, so for
Oh.
4 years. I mean, that dude was intelligent. Hey, shout out to David.
Shout out to David. Remember he
Yeah.
scored like a perfect
On
it was
which
like
one?
it was like we had like a SAT.
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't okay. I know what you're talking about.
It was for middle school.
Yeah, at the end of every year.
It was like a practice SAT.
Oh, I hated that, bro.
It was like a C scat, something like that. He got
something
like a.
cat or scat or something.
I think
like
he
that,
only
yeah.
missed one question, something crazy like that.
Well, do you remember he used to like take math, like with the year above us?
Yeah, he used to
Something
take
like that?
math. He used to be like in
Advanced algebra or something
advanced
like that.
algebra.
Yeah.
He I didn't know it then. I didn't know what type of student he was, but because I remember I would just think of it. Oh, he's really good at math, so he's up there.
Yeah,
But he
for
was
sure.
he was a prodigy.
Really?
He was a prodigy. I mean, he had good in math, good in school, amazing with the violin. That's kind of
yeah.
some factors, you know.
I wonder if he still plays, man.
I spoke to him in COVID
Uh huh.
because I got into classical music a lot because I was the year before 2019. We had just done or that year actually, you know, because COVID happened more in March. February or January, I did the opera at San Diego State.
Okay.
And I was getting more into it, and so I was in it. I was in that genre, and then during COVID, I just started. I don't know if it happened for you over COVID.
Sure.
It just happened that I kind of started. Let me see what other people are up to. Let me see what people are up to. That was kind of what I went to. So I actually contacted him. I might actually not remember that well, but I contacted him. I asked him about Mr. Duncan. I wanted to take lessons. Kind of reach out to him, see if Mr. Duncan can help me.
For sure, yeah.
And then I told him, hey, do you still play the violin? He's like, nah, man, I kind of put it down. Man. And then so I was asking him, hey, like I told him, bro, classical music is like a world that I just figured out, and it was cool. He was playing like music of Bach. So I didn't know it then, but he and Mr. Duncan were doing the concerto for two violins, if you ever want to look at it, by Bach. And it's the one that goes I don't want to sing, but it's the one that goes
Yeah. I know that one. No, it sounds familiar.
Amazing piece, bro. Amazing. And
that dude was
a
feed
crack,
guy.
bro.
Yeah, he was a feedman dude, bro. Nah, dude. I mean, look, I grew up with David, man. Ever since I think man, I'm thinking maybe 10, 11 years old, man. That's how long I've been knowing him since pretty much childhood.
Okay.
And we grew up with the same friends, and his brother was good friends with my brother, my older brother. So it's like and then I would like have sleepovers at his house. Like we grew up together, man. And,
You guys aren't cousins, family, just
no,
good
no,
friends.
we're just friends. Yeah, we're just friends that grew up together. Yeah,
Damn,
it was
like on the
crazy.
same block or same apartment
No.
complex?
Okay, so it was for some reason I don't know how it happened, but his mom became friends with my mom.
Oh, I see.
Like 15 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
So like or 20, almost 20. So like we like kind of like just started hanging out, and then more people that went to the same middle school we did, their moms like knew my mom and his mom. So like it was just all like connected, bro.
Yeah,
It was like network at its finest for some reason.
Damn.
So we grew up together, like what I
Right.
mean. So like it was cool, and then I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy that he got a full on ride.
Yeah.
And,
I hope he's doing good, man.
I know
Him.
for sure.
I know Brian. You remember Brian Shaw?
Yeah. Okay. So I had him on Instagram, and I had his twin.
Reagan.
No, Brianna.
Oh, Brianna.
Brianna, yeah. So I guess they both graduated in.
Dude, they went to
like
the
Missouri or something like that. They went like
they went to the expensive
high school
yeah.
in
La Jolla.
La Jolla Country
Country
Day, right? Yeah.
And then I think I just remember Brian went to like Georgetown, something like that, or Brown or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he went to a good university.
But they definitely that's kind of something that I should have been maybe more as a kid, like the future. Probably they didn't. They probably understand it because their parents definitely pushed them to do that, but
for sure, yeah.
They were just hitting like everything. I gotta make sure I get a good job.
Yeah,
like they probably don't have issues, with getting jobs, and they probably have a good social network. So
for sure, yeah.
Definitely, hope they're still out there doing the good work.
Last time I checked, because I had him on Instagram probably like years ago. He became like a doctor or something like that. That's true. Bro. Yeah, he was in the medical field. Yeah. So like, that's pretty cool, man. Like seeing your old, I guess, colleagues.
Yeah, doing good.
Doing well. So, But what about you, man? What'd you do in high school? How was your high school experience?
Dude, high school wasn't my best years, man.
Was your best years? Prime.
I remember. I was. What's funny?
What's up?
2014 was the year I got baptized at my church, and I fell to the peer pressure of trying to be cool, trying to be like a cool kid. Mm-hmm. I was like for other reasons too. Like our leader had passed away. Our church leader had passed away, 2014 of December. So I missed that whole semester, and my high school they didn't forgive me for missing those days, probably because I didn't let them know. But I thought that if I had told, we left in a rush. I mean, he was a very important person for me, for my whole family. So we said, well, we gotta, we're trying to pay our respects and go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Where we went to Guadalajara, and I came back, with good mood, a good, my grandpa had also, my grandpa passed away later that month as well. And so I told school, hey, anyways, the to make a long story less long, the school didn't really forgive me for it. They still failed me. I didn't get F's, but I got D's, and so I had to do summer school, and that really didn't help me. So then sophomore year, I got a really cool teacher that kind of pushed me, kind of made me understand the importance of high school. I mean, by then, we're talking about people like David Diaz. We're talking about the Brian Shaws of the world. They're already a little up ahead going to. I mean, they got scholarships to go over there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm over here at a charter school, still kind of messing around and trying to be cool and all that.
I went to charter school too, man.
So
came out great.
So it took me a while to start figuring out my future, and even at the end of high school, I was like, man, the sophomore, my freshman year wasn't too good. So like I got D's and then I just got B's. I didn't even get A's, so that really hurt me. I probably could have had like a 4 point, maybe like a 3.9, 4.0 for my maybe like a 3.9 something for just CSUs, because if you remember CSUs, they just look at your 10th and 11th grade.
11th grade. Yeah.
UCs, they look at the whole high
4 years.
school, right?
Yeah, the whole 4 years.
You know, that's kind of the rule that they always show people.
Yeah.
So that really hurt me. I was looking at the end of my freshman year. I was looking like at a 2.8 no, not even 2.8. I was looking at a 1.2 GPA.
What?
And then
Really?
at the end of my sophomore year, I was looking at a 2.8. And then I got better. My that teacher that really helped me, his name was Miguel, but he you know, there's a couple allegations out there. Don't want to really get too much into it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I never know if it was real or not. But he ended up you know, just so we don't get restricted on YouTube or anything like that. But let's just say he took himself out. And
you went that route.
and that kind of really hurt, you know. That wasn't really something easy for me, because I finally saw someone, man, that dude's gonna help me with my college applications.
So this happened before you graduated, right?
This happened before I graduated, but that was kind of the that's where the plot for me changed, because then he was preaching to me like, hey, he was talking to me about the statistics of Mexicans, that they don't graduate college. Life is a little bit harder for Mexicans that don't have a college degree. And so that kind of pushed me, you know, to, okay, I got to go to college. I want to go to college. I'm trying to get better. And then he was gone. And
so that motivation,
that motivated me. Yeah. But then after I graduated, I felt lonely when I was in college, because I didn't really have someone that was there to kind of guide me. And I mean, my parents are good. They're good, you know. They always give me good, because they believe in God, so they follow that sort of God-like doctrine. But they don't know about college, right? So their best advice is just, hey, find someone that can help you, be on time, do your work. And that part where they say find someone was the hard part. I was like, man, I had just found someone. This guy, he went to Cal Poly SLO, I believe, for his undergrad, that teacher, and then he did his master's here at USD.
Oh, right here in just right here.
By Loma.
No,
it's something Linda.
Linda Vista, yeah, just right here, just like right there on top of like Mission Bay or around there, yeah.
So I thought I had someone, man. I was like, okay, this guy's gonna help me in life, you know. He's gonna, and that was God's plan. You know, maybe I don't become that person. Maybe I don't go to college if he doesn't, you know, if he doesn't. I'm trying to find the correct word, but if he's not here anymore, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But so that helped me, and then I was able to go to college, San Diego State, Cal Poly SLO.
Wow.
So high school was I had fun in high school, maybe a little bit too much fun, and then after he passed away, then that really was where it kicked up for me, and I was like, I got to think about my life, and I never strayed away from God, I think, but I was definitely the times where I, through my actions, showed that I believed more in materialism than actually the faith that God in an instant can change your life for better.
Yeah. No,
you know, sometimes I still to this day struggle with, I have to do the logical things, right? I have to get a job so I can have money. And I forget that, you know, for God, he can have a different path, that you don't have to follow that rule. But it's just hard for me, because I'm so sometimes believe in materialism that I have to see it, you know? I have to follow the logic.
Yeah.
So it gets hard, you know, logic versus faith.
You just have to like balance everything.
Have to balance out. Because God also teaches us that he can definitely change your life. You don't have to do anything, but he also teaches you that you also have to work. You know, you also have to do the logical steps.
Yeah.
So it is a life in balance, and that's something that from high school to now, I'm trying to get better at that. What about you? Do you struggle with that type of materialism? I kind of feel you probably are better at that than me.
It depends, man. It really depends. So, it really depends. You know, like I said, you know, the whole balancing thing, dude. That it's tough sometimes, man, to really balance, like your spiritual life, your actual life, and like work, everything, man. Everything is hard. It's hard, man. But sometimes I do get carried away, man. I'll tell you that. You know, I get carried away with the things of this world.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, like clothing, or I don't, like even like the smallest things, like a hobby can really distract you and just drift you off from the path that
Right.
they want to stay on. But I mean, going back to what you said, it's tough, man. It really is. But you just have to keep on pushing forward, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way. That's the only logical
Faith.
answer.
And
Yeah,
actually,
bro.
it's all logical too, man.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you just gotta do what you gotta do, man. What's best for you.
Yeah.
But actually, but then, like, recognize when you're like in the wrong, or when you're in the right too.
Yeah.
You know?
No, of course, man. I mean, definitely as a kid, for me, because this has been my whole struggle with balancing spiritual life and being more on the material side has been kind of, I see the money, I see the glory of this world, and I'm trying to.
What you want.
I want to chase it, and the only reason why I do so, I don't know if in your church, but at least in my church, I always know that there's people that are always on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Definitely on one spectrum, no, I have to make money, and they stray away from God because that's what has been their challenge, right? I have to get money, so I work a lot. Or it could also be other things, right? Like,
Exactly.
I want to feel good, so I do this thing. I want to, be a little bit promiscuous, so because I feel good by doing it, or whatever it is, right? And then there are the other people on the other side that are, none of this matters. All I have to do is serve God, and I don't have to basically work. It's just God will provide. So I always found it kind of in the middle, where I take it as a challenge to prove to people you can have a job, work, and be dedicated to your job, and also serve God and give him the time, and be devoted to him, because not that you're serving two masters, right? Like that verse, you can't serve two masters, but
exactly, yeah.
God also teaches you, as I said earlier, that you have to work
to provide,
yeah. And obviously putting God above everything. But there is a physical labor that you have to do, right, in order to reach that sort of life. Like I was just remembering about this verse that said, the Apostle Paul was saying, he was talking to the church of Corinthians, I think, or Galatians. Some of those churches were a little bit.
Corinthians was the most rebel church,
I think. Yeah,
he would write letters to
Corinthians. Yeah, he was saying, like, who works and I don't. So he was like telling them, like, I work too. I'm not just laying. I
don't just live off of
the
church.
Like I'm working too. I work to sustain myself.
For sure.
So, but it's been a challenge, man. It's been a challenge, and then more with this job that I'm gonna get. You don't get like 9 to 5. For us, church, we have 3 hours at my church. We have 5 a.m., 9 a.m., and 7. At first, I thought you had to go to all of them. Obviously, you're encouraged to, but it's more so that some people they work at night, so they can't go at the evening. Most people do, because they work the regular 9 to 5, or they work their 7 to 3. And then 5 a.m. for those that they can't go in the evening. Then 9 a.m. 9 a.m. was actually at my church was kind of instituted because there's a lot of stay-at-home moms that wanted to ask God for their husbands to return home safe, and just it was an opportunity for them to, hey, while my husband is out working, hopefully he comes back. So right now I'm kind of thinking maybe I might have to go more like in the morning, things like that. But yeah, so it's been challenging, man. And I remember one time because you were I think you were just getting into
church?
Church and being a Christian, and I invited you, and one of the things that to this day I wish I would have done earlier, but like I said, I was still struggling with being like material. So I was seeking the things that were material, and still to this day I still struggle with that, but I definitely am more aware. When you said, like, damn, why didn't you talk to me about this earlier? When we were in middle school. And to my embarrassment, I was a little bit embarrassed, man.
Look,
I wasn't fully convicted. I
Yeah.
would say I was still, 13, 12. We were in
I
high
mean,
school. We were in
in
middle
school,
school.
yeah. I mean, same with me, man. That's where like I got baptized at age
18.
nah, nah. I've been in church for like 12 years.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, wait,
25.
No, I'm 25, bro, right now.
So minus 12 is
Yeah, I was 14.
40.
I
Oh
was
shoot.
14. So in 2013, actually got baptized on my mom's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 2013, I was 14. Yeah, so that's when I got baptized, and man, I wish I could just, cause I wasn't fully in, man, like you know,
Yeah.
cause look, we were in middle school, and
Right.
the things we did in middle school, they weren't
They weren't godlike.
they
I
weren't
would
God,
say
like,
that.
they weren't good, man.
I'm not gonna go into details,
Yeah.
but we'll leave it at that.
They weren't good. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
Man. Yeah.
fighting, man. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean,
just trying to be the cool kid,
the cool
you know?
guy, you know, and be like, all right, who can take me down, and you know,
and hanging out with the bad crew. But
yeah.
I remember my dad would always tell me, "Hey, don't hang out with those kids." Like,
Really, bro?
and I wouldn't. Not that I wouldn't listen, but I would think this is like the naivety. I don't even know that's how you pronounce it, but me being naive is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, naive, yeah.
No, I can actually turn them good. That's the
That's
naiveness.
the word. That's like the last thing you want to do.
Right. That's almost like, I'm not saying that they're the devil or anything like
no,
that,
yeah,
but just saying that that's also like when you it says in the Bible, don't tempt God, and
Yeah.
sometimes I can do it, so we put ourselves in bad situations.
Yeah.
What do you think about, and this is like a good question,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about, because it's something that I've been kind of thinking about. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be naive in speaking about those things,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a part of me that if I know I have a vice, I try to ask God to not take it away, but help me overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I like, maybe that, and this is where I might be naive. I like to think that I need to get to a point where I can for example, like if I was addicted to cigarettes, which thank God I've never been addicted to cigarettes or drugs like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had asthma as a kid, so it wasn't hard to convince me
That
not
was
to
a
smoke.
life-threatening, yeah.
Yeah, not to do those things. But if I was like addicted to smoking, there would be a part of me that would think I want to get to a point where I can see the pack of cigarettes and not pick it up. But then I think, I don't know, if I'm not too sure yet, but I would maybe assume that what God is telling you is maybe don't put yourself in that situation. But for me and my own ego is like, well, I want to get to a point where even if I see it,
you want to prove yourself.
I want to not even like, I want to be able to have that self-control. So in your experience, man, like, do you agree, like, trying to get to that point is like a maybe like a good goal, or would you just play it safe and say, hey, like, don't even try to put yourself in
what I've learned over
that
the
situation?
Years, yeah, I mean, I that's a very good question, man. I understand how, like, like what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So like over the years, I've learned that, like, for example, like I have family members that are not in church, and obviously they live worldly life, right? Drink, smoke, and all that stuff. So, even the Bible says, man, you gotta like apart yourself from the world. Be different. You're called to be different. But what I'm trying to say is, even though if it's your family and like you want the best for them and you love them and you care for them, no matter what, it's always best to just keep like a line that you don't want to cross when it comes to that.
Right.
Like, for example, like just try to be very like. I mean, obviously, you don't want to support one of your family members to be an alcoholic, right? Right? It's like the last thing you want to do, but just be like, hey, you know what? Like, just be like, hey, like, come on, man, like, don't drink or don't smoke. It's bad for you. But at the same time, like, it's your family. It hurts you, right? And you just want the best for them, but at the same time, like, you just have to keep your distance when it comes to that, because you need to, like, you live a godly life, and that's very important. You can't take it like as a game, right? You can't see it that way, but you need to take it very serious, and you just need to, like I said, man, like, it's your family, is gonna hurt you, right? But it's always best to just kind of like, okay, because
keep a distance.
Keep a distance, because look, This is a good example. So what happens when you put like a rotten fruit next to a healthy fruit?
It's gonna rot.
It's gonna rot. Yeah, eventually it's gonna jump into the other fresh, healthy fruit.
Yeah, the
and
fruit isn't gonna clean it.
Yeah, it's not gonna clean. No, so it's just like you're gonna pretty much stain yourself with your environment. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So it's not best to I'm saying in Spanish like ir buscando lo que es malo.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just it's not worth it, bro.
Yeah.
It really isn't, because I've been there myself, like years back, and it's not worth it, man. It's not worth living that life.
Yeah.
You know? Knowing the truth already.
Well, like walking that fine line, you know.
Yeah, that thin ice, man.
Yeah.
Eventually you're gonna end up falling in. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Cause I've always, yeah, it might be like a dead end, but I always, you know, maybe I romanticized a lot of stories that ended with the redemption, and maybe, you know, some of those redemption stories are, or just don't, they never put themselves in that situation, but yeah, maybe there's a vice that you'll have for the rest of your life, that you'll have to draw the line, because you'll for sure fall if you're in that situation. But do you also believe there's some vices, I would maybe say call them sins, that over time you'll be able to have that, you'll be able to grow that strong faith to stand your ground?
Yeah.
Like, for example, right now, I know if someone offered me a cigarette, weed, or whatever, I stand my ground.
Yeah.
Now, for other things, it might be a little harder.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, that's always gonna be other ways to try to for you to fall into temptation.
Yeah.
But you're gonna reach a certain level where nothing's gonna phase you anymore. What used to phase you, what used to fall into temptation,
Call your attention.
Yeah, it's not gonna be because you already know what it means. And you already know what's gonna cause you to fall in. You know what I mean?
Right. So you agree that you'll eventually phase out, but for not for everything, for certain things.
Yeah, I believe that, because I do that.
I think so too.
Yeah, because it's.
I think it's naive to think that
it's impossible.
Well, not impossible, but when you reach the perfection in faith, you'll be able to not, you'll be able to resist every temptation.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you can live.
You'll be able to stand your ground on some, and then on others, you just have to be. It's just smarter, and you know which ones are right. Like, I know mine.
Oh yeah.
It'll be just smarter. Like, don't put yourself in that situation.
Exactly. I mean, you already know.
It's just that temptation that God is. You will never be perfect, right? There's always gonna be something that is going to, till you die, is going, it's going to call your attention.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, especially if you're doing so good, you're and all of a sudden, something just knocks you out. What happened?
Yeah.
Right. But then you just gotta stay firm, man.
Yeah, stay firm. Damn.
Live a prayer life.
Yeah.
Have a prayer life. That's how you communicate with the Lord.
No, that's very true. Yeah, through prayer. I when I said I was 14, 13, I knew I definitely at that age knew I'm trying to I want to serve God. I want to be in that. I know the reward is way greater than that little moment of happiness, and I've always, and over time I started thinking of moments, this moment right here is gonna pass. And I remember I used to be scared of some things, I don't know, I was scared of. I remember when I did my first opera, I was I was positioned on the ground.
Really?
Yeah, because we were all gonna I don't know, act like we were hungover in the opera, and then we're gonna wake up and start the day,
Yeah, for sure.
Like commoners. I was like a commoner in the scene, so I was just gonna be kind of, asleep and then wake up and just be kind of that extra. So anyways, I remember I was so scared I had to go to the bathroom, and there was already an audience, right? They paid the ticket, and they were gonna they were gonna raise the curtain, and I was just so scared. I was like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I had khaki pants, and I remember I as a kid wasn't always the best at maintaining my at controlling, you know, my needs. So I was scared, like, bro, what if I'm just, and there was a moment when I was standing, so I was like, bro, what if I'm just like,
Bro.
what if I just have an accident right now? It was one of those rushes where I really thought I probably should go to the bathroom right now. I
Yeah,
was
because
just
you know
nervous.
what? Yeah, you know what
just
was gonna
nervous.
happen. Yeah, if you didn't. Yeah.
Then after, like, obviously at that moment, I just say, God, please, like, just help me overcome this. And yeah, after a while, like,
Yeah.
you know, that feeling goes away. I don't know what it is. It just goes away, right? Like one day you have to go to the bathroom, and then it
And
just
just all
goes
of a sudden
away.
you don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that feeling went away, and I
That
was
is
sitting
crazy.
there, and I was nervous, and I just thought, like, this moment is gone. Essentially, it's already over. Like, it's just gonna be a memory. And look now, like, now it's just a memory that I have,
Just
you
memory,
know.
yeah. Because life
So,
goes on, you know.
and it was a happy moment, you know. It wasn't like I did the opera. It was fun. It was good to sing, to be
Wait.
with so many people.
So how old were you when you did your first
I
opera?
was 20. So I was practicing the end of 2019, and then 20 was
Oh,
when we
okay.
actually
Wait, so
presented.
it's a funny question, but what's a random question? But like, did like middle school not like teach you anything? We used to wear khakis, man.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
uniform, remember khaki
yeah,
and
yeah,
maroon?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm like, well,
Why wear khaki?
I'll wear khaki.
No, well, that was the costume they gave me.
Oh, but isn't it funny how like
Yeah.
for like what 4 years you wore
Yeah, I wore khaki.
we're wearing khakis and then all of a sudden like,
I have, I
yeah.
have the situation where I'm wearing khaki pants, and but it's just a moment, you know. It was happy, it was
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
and then it just went away. So as I grew older, I kind of started realizing those happy moments, or even sad moments, they're just moments. They're gonna flee, and
Exactly.
they're just gonna be good memories to have. Hopefully, there's wisdom in there, right? You pass it on to your kids.
You
Hey,
learn
like,
from it.
when I was in the opera, this is what happened. So when you
You
do an
almost peed.
audition, you know, be ready for something like this.
Yeah.
And it's gone. You know, it's fleeing. So when I was a kid, I kind of realized moments, and I kind of thought that, not that I wasn't like fully convinced about the faith in God. I knew it was gonna be a good path,
Yeah.
but I was still so young that peer pressure was so sometimes easy, you know, to fall into.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, like, I remember in middle school, I wanted to be part of the. I don't think you were in class when I was in 7th grade, but I wanted to be part of the cool squad, you know. And so I remember I went to that. They were like hanging out at the couch, and I went there, and they were like, "Hey, get out of here!" And so I like walked away, kind of like tearing up,
Really?
and then I was thinking, I want to be their friends, you know. I don't know why. I
Wait,
just caught
what?
my attention.
7th grade. What teachers did we have in 7th grade?
I think we had Miss Cortez, Miss
That was 7th grade.
Garcia.
I thought that
Yeah.
was 8th grade.
Oh yeah, Miss Cortez was 7th grade.
Hmm.
But anyways, you know what I like? You know what I always remember about you in middle
What's up?
school? You had the Dickies, bro. So
Bro,
like now these pants are coming
yeah,
back,
no, you
right?
mean the slim?
The
slim
slim.
fit,
And I remember I asked you,
yeah.
yo, where you got those? Because I
Oh
remember
yeah.
I that was when skinny jeans were in
Yeah, I mean
season.
that was the thing, yeah. But,
Bro, and as a kid, one of my regrets as a kid was like not being
yeah.
so,
And the Converse.
not only not being in the Converse, but not being aware, bro, of the world. Like,
Yeah, I mean
that
that
was
was the
such a
thing, yeah.
crazy time, you know.
I mean, dude, think about it.
I
Like,
didn't even realize, like, you know,
huh.
Kanye had just put out like an album.
Dude, okay, okay, that's one thing, man. You were like big on. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're still big on Kanye. Right?
Later, I became big on
Okay,
Kanye.
well,
Right? At that point, I didn't become big on Kanye until 2015. But at that point, I was just like, Kanye. I mean, okay, I was listening to Mercy,
Mercy.
you know,
Yeah, but I mean, going back to
the
the
Dickies.
Dickies, bro. Okay, so I don't know how I like stumbled across like those Dickies, dude. Okay, so
But you look fly though. You look fly. That's why
yeah,
I
okay,
asked
yeah,
about
but
them.
okay, the thing is like
And they had that line right here. I
yeah,
thought
it
they
was
were
a line,
so
and
cool.
then the side pocket
Yeah,
right here,
yeah.
the side pocket, and like okay, so I was traumatized, and I was in middle school. I was traumatized. Like I was just paranoid on how like Like my khakis had to be clean, man. Like I had to like maintain my khakis.
They were so
clean.
easy to
Yeah,
get
because I
dirty.
mean, dude, something. It's like my shirt, bro. Like it's light yellow,
Yeah.
right? Anything that falls on it is gonna stain it.
Right.
So the same thing with the khakis, bro. So that's like I was like, oh, and then I mean during that time, like we used to live in an apartment, so we didn't have like washer and dryer like right then and there,
Right.
you know, like inside your house or whatever.
Oh, you had to go to like.
Yeah, I had to go do. Yeah, so that's why like I was
Actually,
like,
at that time too, we didn't have a wall. We had to
Yeah,
go. And
so,
we
like-
would go to like National City.
yeah, the laundromats, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, so like it wasn't anything new to us, but it's just I had that in mind, like okay, I gotta like, you know, I'm
Take
not
care
gonna,
of 'em.
Yeah, take care. I'm not gonna make my mom wash like
Yeah.
my khakis every like 2 days or
Bro,
every day.
I used to hate going to the
Laundromats?
laundromats. That was your
Yeah.
whole day.
Yeah, no, like on a Saturday, get up like at 5:30, get everything, and just go, man. We used to go. I used to go to one in Plaza Boulevard,
Possible.
where the bakery 805 or no 85 bakery 85.
Damn. Did you used to live right there in National City?
Yeah, so I used to live right there in
By the Walmart? I would go to one by the
Yeah,
Walmart.
okay, yeah,
And the
yeah.
AutoZone.
the AutoZone.
There's like an AutoZone there. But by the
Walmart.
Walmart, like a little bit.
Walmart,
Auto.
Oh, okay,
By the
yeah.
99 cents store.
Oh, okay, I know which one. Okay, no, I was in the other side. I was
okay,
okay. You know
good.
where Plaza Boulevard runs before.
I don't know, but if
Okay,
it's in the area.
Okay, well,
then-
yeah, okay, so it's okay, so it's no longer a laundromat. It's like a 85 bakery, like it's like a Korean bakery, something like that. It's good.
Oh, okay.
It's some good pan, man. It's some good bread, but
Some pan.
some pan, man, some pan dulce, like Asian style. don't
I
know.
love it.
But anyways, dude, that was my childhood, man. Like and the funny thing is like during that time, you know how it was like coins, and like you had to wash with like quarters and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So during that time, it was like so like advanced that they had like the card.
The card.
So
yeah,
you
the
would like
card.
reload the card and then
Reload
like
the card.
and then I remember my mom would be like, hey, go with your brother and go reload the card. I'm like, okay. So we would go put in the card. It's like the ATM, like you
Right.
put in the money,
With the money.
and then just take it out and then just use it while washing. So it's like, dude, all those memories, man. Like you know,
Yeah.
ever since I was a kid, like it was amazing, man. I had a cool childhood, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's like the beauty of it. You get to share with others.
I had a pretty good childhood too. I don't know how many. I only met your brother, right? He's older. You only had.
It's just me and my brother. Yeah.
Oh, you and your brother. Me, I had two sisters.
Yeah, I remember your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I mean, I don't want to like I don't know, like put her in blast or whatever. I'm just saying, like she would wear the long skirt.
Yeah.
in
So
middle
that
school, I
was
mean,
that
yeah.
was the.
like modest. Yeah, she would.
That's what we still to this day
Wow.
use skirts.
Hey, you know, and sorry to cut you off, man, but like honestly, like my respect, especially for like the girls, man. Like
Yeah.
you know, the long skirts like that. Us men, we just put on some jeans and
You can
maybe, like,
blend in.
You can blend in easily, yeah. But for them, they stand out.
They
a lot.
stand out. a
And
lot.
like my respect for them, and you know, they
Yeah.
keep the modest life. And,
No,
you
they
know?
definitely do. And something that's very interesting is that obviously there's parts of the world that definitely not only do they stay in their non-religious affiliation,
Yeah.
definitely sometimes even go super on the other end of the spectrum or on the other end of the more radical. I don't want to say radical, but just more to the extreme.
Yeah.
And then there's definitely like, you know, the fashion world is always changing and usually recycling things. Right now there's a lot of like retros coming back. So,
A lot of
but there's a
baggy
lot
stuff.
there's a lot. I tell you because a lot of the ladies at my church,
Yeah.
it's always a happy moment or cool for them to go to a store and find a skirt.
Yeah, man.
A
dude.
jean skirt is like gold to them because
don't-
you never
Yeah.
find those.
My wife, she's like she loves like denim skirts.
And one of their worst feelings is they think it's a skirt, jean skirt, and it's just the
Jeans,
pants.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
the actual pants.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I mean, look, like here's the thing, man. Like when you live a modest life,
It's
like
funny.
lifestyle, like you stick to it, man. And that's why,
Yeah.
like I said, like my respects, like my wife, man. Like she's a godly, like
Woman.
modest, woman, man. Like she like at her job, like she needs to wear scrubs. And thank God they make like modest like long skirt scrubs, dude.
because she's in the medical field.
Yeah. Well, she works for like an oral surgeon.
Damn.
Great guy, great job. So, but you need to wear scrubs as a uniform. So, like, there's this girl that she knows that actually makes them.
When you say
Yeah.
oral, that's not like a dentist, right? Like they
No, it's just well, they do surgery like in your like they gotta remove like a wisdom tooth
like
or
jaw.
yeah,
Oh,
like stuff
okay.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But
so
it's surgery, actual surgery,
not just like a
not just a
dentist
dentist.
that.
Nah, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's an actual surgeon that like
Damn, I didn't know
like,
that's what
that
they
does
would.
that. Yeah,
I
only
didn't know
does
that's what
oral.
they would call them.
Yeah. I mean, it's some type of like oral something like
Yeah.
so, I mean, I just know as oral surgeon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to that, dude. So like, like it's a lot of like respect and a lot of like,
Right.
like you just gotta like acknowledge that.
And the
honestly.
world is that what I wanted to say was that the
Mhm.
world is changing to the
Yeah.
point where now you see a lot of models with skirts, a lot of dresses that go all the
Yeah.
way down.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting to see how you can feel very secluded and even made fun of because you're dressing in that way. But then then the world will change and you'll see someone that ridiculed you for wearing a skirt or however even a guy has to dress a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure.
Then kind of like have that same outfit on
Mhm.
or have that same type of style. So I mean, skinny jeans was definitely popular when we were growing up. Now it's like
Yeah.
the straight jeans and
Yeah, straight or
and
like baggy or athletic. I get athletic, man. Because
I get just regular. Like for example, these are pretty good. You know,
Mhm.
they're kind of slim,
like slim fit,
but
almost, or
they're not like this.
tight?
You know,
No, I get like athletic because it's like in the middle of like straight and skinny,
Right.
but it's not like it's tight. But it's enough room for like to move comfortably and
Yeah.
like the taper sometimes because the taper like is just only tapered on your
yeah,
like
yeah, on the bottom.
at the bottom. Yeah, it's not like it's tapered on your thighs.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. I mean, it's been like a long journey when it comes to like the way like people dress and like,
yeah, dude.
you know?
So, damn, that was a good a
But-
good thing. A good pat down memory
Yeah,
lane.
but if you think about it, like, man, we were in middle school, man. We were immature, right?
Yeah.
So we were like make fun of someone like.
No,
I
you
mean,
know what?
you know what I
one,
mean?
one
Like-
of the things that happened to us, so immature, but and I think you know what I'm talking about.
What?
But and we weren't even supposed. So I've always been kind of that student.
Mhm.
I would always get in trouble for. I mean,
Remember SSR?
I don't even know what SSR is, but
Wait, no, it was SSR. Or was
what's SSR?
it was
Is SSR like a detention thing or
yeah. Okay, so like I would get sent there, and I would see my older brother there.
what?
already, bro.
Silent,
silent, or SRS or something like that. Silent something.
silent reading. I don't know.
Yeah, but Miss Maureen would always be there, bro.
Oh,
Remember Miss
okay.
Maureen?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would always. Hey, my respects for her, man. She
You
had
know,
to deal
not-
with immature kids.
Now that I'm older, I definitely respect a lot of my teachers. Mister
Mhm.
Lukey for sure. I think he was a good
oh
teacher.
yeah, Mr. Luke, that dude was cool, man.
He was a cool dude. Obviously, when you got on his bad side, he'd get you for it, right? But
Yeah, Mr. Luke.
definitely super dope, super cool. One of the things that I remember we got in trouble for, and that's always why, because when you associate yourself with a not a bad squad, but when you start giving that impression that you're like on the troublemaking side, they
Yeah.
don't. There's a point where they don't give you the benefit of the doubt anymore. So I remember you and I were like flickering water at each other,
We
and
were?
someone reported that we were fighting, and they sent us to the freaking office, bro. And I think that was one of my last straws.
Really?
So
I think
like
during that
I
time,
was in trouble
Mhm.
maybe like a week before, and I was like, bro, this can't be happening right now.
So
Like,
you were like back to back. Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I was like,
So
bro.
I think during that time, that's when that dude was principal.
Mr. Some guy, some white guy.
some
Andrew
tall-
Crow.
Yeah, Crow. Mr.
Andrew Crow.
He was cool, man, but yeah, that dude was.
He was
on a
cool.
whole-
He also had some like allegations on a little bit.
Yeah, man.
But
yeah.
it wasn't anything too bad. It was just
It was just
it was
with
just
the-
unprofessional. Him having I think the
With the
allegation was
colleague.
like a
No, with the coworker. It was.
yeah.
A coworker.
Him and a coworker
Yeah.
were
That's crazy.
being a little bit too close.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't anything I would say. It was just
But-
inappropriate for the job, you know,
Yeah.
unprofessional.
But I mean, going back to that, dude, like, yeah, so yeah, I do remember that. We were supposedly fighting according to whoever staff member caught us. But, dude, okay, I don't know. Dude, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but there's an individual that we both know
Okay.
that you're good friends with.
Okay.
Like, shout out to him, though, for real, because it's not like I have nothing against him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time, like, I haven't seen him in years, but last time I saw him, like we were just good friends and catching up. Anyways, he threw like a, I think it was a like remember we used to get cold sandwiches.
Yo, hey,
You
by the
remember?
way,
Oh, what's up?
just as a parentheses,
Yeah.
give the kids better lunch.
Yeah, hot lunch.
We're gonna talk about that right now, but
Yeah,
go
but
ahead,
anyway,
go ahead.
okay, so all right, so I remember. Okay, you know we used to have
A cold sandwich, huh?
cold sandwiches.
It was like
and
a little baguette.
and like wrapped,
and,
dude.
like,
The thing was
wrapped
wrapped. Okay,
with,
with clear
oh,
plastic. Yeah.
a disgusting ham, whatever the heck it was, with like
No,
seeds in the middle.
No,
Oh.
and then yeah, okay, and then they had the audacity to not let us microwave our sandwiches because it came with cheese.
After a while,
After a while, they did, yeah. But in the beginning, it was like strict. They were like, no, you can't microwave anything. I'm like, dude, what? But anyways, so going back to that, remember our bus driver used to set the tables?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so our middle school was a great middle school, but we didn't have like tables, like actual cafeteria. So
Yeah.
we just had to like those like
It was a
foldable
charter. It
bench.
was a charter.
Yeah, it was a
middle
charter school, so it was a good school.
They were working
Yeah.
with what
They were
with
what
the
they
funding
had.
that they had.
Yeah,
you know?
so like my respects to
everyone that
yeah,
made it work.
made it work. Yeah, so our bus driver, I'm pretty sure he was mad, bro.
Well, when I get to
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, man, dude. It's so much. Okay, anyway, so we were
It was
in
just
lunch.
funny already
yeah.
that he threw a
Okay, so we were in lunch, and then like, you know you had to make lines.
sandwich. Yeah.
We were already sitting. I think it was you, me, and like that individual. We were already sitting down, and then this kid, man, I'm not gonna say who it was or how he looked, but this kid was in line, ready to get his lunch, and then that individual, he was like, "Hey, watch this."
Watch this. That's never a good sign.
Bro, he grabbed his sandwich and he like, man, dude, he like
Perfect spiral.
perfect, man. Like he busted a Tom Brady, bro. Dude, it hit him in the back, bro, in his back. But it was so loud. No, actually, no. I think it was a carton of milk. Chocolate milk. Dude. Anyway, so like he hit that Tom Brady, hit him right in the back. Bam, dude, but it was loud, bro. It was like it sounded like you know when you dab someone like bam.
Yeah.
Like splats. Bro, hey, shout out to those two individuals.
That was a funny moment.
Dude,
Oh, especially because it's like if it opens up, it's going.
exactly, and then like it's like tight, and then it just pops. Dude, okay, and then another time was, you remember Miss who was that math teacher? The one that went to Long Beach State that was from like Illinois.
Ornelius?
No.
Oh.
She was our 5th grade. No, I think she
Asian.
was. No, she was like African American. But she was cool. She was like, man, she was like very cool.
She was a math teacher.
Yeah.
Oh,
7th
Miss
grade.
Miss. No.
She had like twins. And
Yeah,
she got
yeah.
married when we were in high school.
I know what you're talking about,
I mean,
but I
middle
forget
school,
her
yeah.
name. I every time I go, the last few times I went back to the high school, she was still there.
I think Ms. Muck something. Ms.
McQueen.
McQueen. I think it was I don't know, something McQueen. I don't know. Something.
Oh no, McEwen.
McEwen. Hey, shout out to Ms. McEwen. You're watching this. Anyway, so you know in her classroom.
She was cool. She was cool.
Yeah. So like in her classroom, her windows would open.
Oh
so, like,
yeah.
Remember there was like only like a
there's
few,
like a little alley, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if we were like it was lunchtime, and for some reason every time we would like hang out, we would do something. And like I remember some kid like heated up like a hot pocket. Remember that was a big deal.
Hot pockets were like.
It was a big deal.
You were cool if you had a hot pocket.
Yeah,
bro.
like especially the pepperoni one. That was good.
That was bomb.
Remember the breakfast one? Ham and cheese. You don't remember those? No.
I never had those.
Oh, okay.
I
They were
always loved
good.
the
Hot pepperoni. Anyway, so I don't know what happened. He just grabbed it, and then he's like, "Hey, look, you want to hear something funny?" Like, yeah. So we opened the window, and the window like would open like towards you. It was like a
it was like
a
slanted towards
slanted
you.
towards you. So it was like that, and all of a sudden he was like, "Watch this!" And he like threw the hot pocket
out the window.
out the window, and like since it was like 2 buildings like side to side, and that little hallway, it was all concrete, dude. It was so loud, and we were like in the 2nd or 3rd floor.
Yeah.
It was so loud, bro. Dude, all those memories that we had like in middle school, like
Bro, we were
bad.
crazy troublemakers.
Yeah. But it was fun because like we enjoyed it. It was fun. But
It was a fun experience.
we're not proud of it.
Yeah, we're not proud of it.
We're not proud of
But
it.
we're kids, you know.
Yeah. Hey,
Give us a
but-
break,
Hey, let's talk about the lunches now, man. 'Cause-
bro. The San Diego Unified School District. I'm talking to you.
work
if you're
on it.
if you're on the board, the nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
please provide better food for the kids. One of the things that we had, and we got our food from the San Diego Unified District, so
Yeah,
it
we were
was
charter. Yeah,
it was not
free
good.
lunch.
It was disgusting.
It was free lunches.
And the only reason why I know that was because people at other schools also have like the same.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the most disgusting thing we had was something called like peanut butter, a peanut butter sandwich,
Oh yeah.
and it was like shaped in a star, bro.
Oh.
And that was the most disgusting thing. But after a
remember
while, you have to force yourself to love it, to like
Oh
it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And after a while, it became kind of enjoyable.
And then
I
drink,
love
and
the
then
bread. I
drink
would take
milk.
off and drink milk, bro.
Bro, how can you eat a salad and drink chocolate milk? That's just crazy. Bro, how do you do that? We did that in middle school, and it's now that we're talking about it,
Yeah.
it's disgusting, bro.
There's a couple good ones out there that y'all
Remember
should
the
definitely keep
goldfish?
about. The goldfish
Remember
were
we had
good.
snack
The
at 4 o'clock. We had snack, or 3:30.
we were like, we're on the way out.
Yeah.
The raspberry little granola.
Oh, yeah.
That one was pretty good.
Remember the goldfish, the cinnamon
Yeah, the cinnamon cookies.
Yeah, cinnamon cookies, a big one, the one
Those
with the
are
white
good.
wrapper, and then the
Yeah.
actual goldfish, the cheddar.
Yeah, the cheddar goldfish, the little snacks.
The one that came with the orange. I remember for some reason.
But dude, the sandwich that had that like, not even talking about the cheese, but the ham had like little seeds in it, was like disgusting, bro.
It was like black. It was like black seeds. Yeah, I remember.
It was like, yeah, it was disgusting, bro. I was like, what the heck? Like, my mom would never buy this. We have bologna in the house and ham.
Exactly.
And like
just make
chicken,
sandwiches,
like
yeah.
buy that.
Hey, were you there when? Okay, so whoever's watching right now, like remember like, okay, so we went to school here in San Diego, right? So
Yeah.
a big thing here in San Diego was like the carne asada fries.
Oh
And
yeah,
the Cali burrito, right?
Yeah.
So that's a staple here in SD. So do you remember when like I don't know what happened? We had like an event that they were like, "Oh, what do you guys want to eat?" I remember Miss Coleman was our principal during that time, and everybody was like, "Oh, we want carne asada fries," and they brought like huge like charolas, dude, like trays of like carne asada fries, bro.
I don't remember that. Maybe I was gone for those few days.
Maybe, but I think it was 7th or 8th grade. Yeah, but
Carne asada fries. I
Yeah,
don't remember
dude.
that.
or 6th grade, one of those two. But they brought like 5 trays, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like the biggest trays,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
that they have of carne asada fries, man. Dude, it was like the best day of my life.
You know what was also good? Like our end of the school or like our college school trips.
Oh yeah.
But I don't remember a lot. Like we never had our 8th grade one, right? They canceled
No, we did.
it.
No, we did.
Where did we go?
We went to USC and UCLA.
8th grade?
Yeah.
I do remember going.
I remember because. Wait, I think I remember.
By the way, parentheses.
Yeah.
But remember your thought.
Huh.
I remember 5th grade, and I was gonna use a word. 5th grade, we went to USC and UCLA. 5th grade, because I remember I roomed with Kevin. Kevin, you remember?
Yeah, the dude that thought he was Michael Jackson.
And I saw him again at San Diego State.
How does he look, dude?
The same.
Yeah.
Just he's buff. He's buff.
He's no longer dancing Michael Jackson.
Nah, he's
over it?
buff. But I saw him and there's a funny story, like everyone ganged up on me, bro. Started hitting me with like their belts.
Yeah.
It was bad, bro. Everyone
Wait, so
knows that.
it was in the fifth
I don't know.
grade?
They were 5th grade. They were just messing around, and then like
Uh-huh.
they're like, "Hey, get Sergio," and they started beating me with the belts.
Because I remember, so 5th grade, were you in UNC? Were you with Miss McCarty or what's her name? That
In 5th grade?
Yeah.
Well, in 5th grade, I
What-
forget.
What team or what
I was
college?
with
Miss Maureen? You were UC Berkeley?
I was with Miss Maureen, and then remember she left, and then we got the coolest teacher. I say she was super cool, Miss Ornelas, because one of the things I loved about her, and anyone that's watching and wants to be a teacher should definitely take notes from this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you did a good job or you got like the best grades. I don't know what it was, but she would select a few people,
Mm-hmm.
and just take you to Seaport and like buy you lunch?
Nah, I never, I never reached that, bro.
You never went
Nah.
to that? Maybe
Wait, do you remember? Hold on.
it
Sorry,
was
I know,
cool.
yeah, but do you remember when we had to read a book
Every
and then
day?
every
Or,
day?
like-
No, and then we had this like special bookmark
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
we would put on top of our book, and we were like,
You mark it off.
Yeah, no, the teacher would come and sign
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah.
and you would fill it up. Like if you get like all the signatures, they'll take you to Barnes
And Nobles and buy you a book.
buy you a book, and get you hot chocolate and
Yeah,
brownies.
yeah.
I remember that.
I never got that.
Me neither, but I remember. I was never a big reader, dude. You know, I mean, hey, I encourage
Everyone to read.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
don't want to not have a good vocab, bro.
No, but going back to that teacher, man, she was okay. So I'm not gonna say her personal life, but she did share like some deep, like personal, like experiences that she had in her life
Yeah.
growing up. And I'm just gonna say this, man. She was nothing and became something. I'll tell you that.
Damn.
From what?
She said.
Yeah, from what she said, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it. I don't want to put
Right,
her,
right.
you know, her private
Business
out there. But
I do remember. I do remember.
She would like share, like
She would share.
Dude, we were in 5th grade. Like, obviously, we didn't like really care.
That's insane.
But now if you think about it, it's like, bro, like that was her lifestyle.
She went from that to being our teacher, bro.
Man. Yeah. And then our 5th grade teachers that we had was okay, so it was her.
That white girl.
Yeah, that was.
She went to Pepperdine, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, my bad. I was Pepperdine.
You're
University.
Pepperdine.
Yeah,
nah, bro.
Yeah.
I should have probably been more of a great. I should have probably kept in touch with her, because
What happened to her, man?
I don't know. She wasn't there anymore by the time I was like.
I heard that she was like. I mean, she was a good teacher, but I mean, I don't want to. You know, I'm just not even gonna say anything.
But she wasn't there anymore.
She wasn't there.
Like after our year, she wasn't there anymore.
She probably got tired of us, man.
So she dude, I remember I drew this cool Kenny cartoon with like, do you remember?
South Park.
South Park Kenny or Caillou, I think, with like.
No, the orange. It was Kenny.
Yeah, with guns. I put like the Rambo.
Yeah.
And she took it away, bro.
I
She
mean,
took
bro.
she took it away and never gave it back. And I was like, bro,
man.
that was a good drawing that I had done, bro.
Your masterpiece.
My masterpiece. Would have made like money off of it.
Nah, man.
But
5th grade was fun.
you can tell she like, I don't want to, but going to Pepperdine is not an easy task.
Dude,
I'll say that.
That was, dude. It's an expensive school, man.
Expensive school.
You know what's funny? They shot Zoe 101 there.
Yeah, I remember that.
during summer.
I want to tell you this, like, I'm not gonna say conspiracy theory, but it's kind of something that I'm alarmed because when I was reaching out to David, like I mentioned earlier about, because I was telling, hey, you have any? I just wanted to get into it, so let me talk to David about it. Maybe he can give me lessons. I actually reached out to him. Hey,
Nice.
David, can you like, kind of, I want to get more into the violin, or can you connect me with Mr. Duncan?
Mr. Duncan.
And he said, yeah, here's his email. Hit him up. And so I hit Mr. Duncan up, no response. Twice again, 3 times again. And then I said, hey, like, have you ever spoke to him? He's like, yeah, I spoke to him like maybe like a year ago. He told me that 2020, right? We were all in the pandemic. We were all isolated.
Yeah.
Pandemic for me was terrible, bro, because they scared my parents. Like, I'm talking about the news, right? So
Oh yeah.
I'll get probably more into that. When do you remember when we started? It's like,
I think it was like 5:45.
how are we doing on time?
Yeah.
6.
It's 6. It's gonna be 6, right?
Nah, we probably
No, it's
got
gonna be-
enough time. Just
No,
want
it's
to
gonna
make
be
sure,
7.
like,
I bet.
cause we got 3 hours. But anyways, I'm just saying so that
Told you we're gonna beat it.
none of it. So that
Well, anyways,
if we do that long, we don't lose it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So going back to
so anyways,
Mr.
I
Mr.
reached
Duncan.
out, and I knew he had a school, and I was thinking maybe that's why David was so good at violin. Maybe he took classes with Mr. Duncan or something, because Mr. Duncan in La Jolla was doing classes.
Wait, so I was gonna ask you that. So what happened to him after middle school? After we left?
Mr. Duncan?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting to.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I reached out to where he used to work at, lessons. Hey, I'm trying to look for Mr. Duncan. I used to be a student of his. I'm trying to see if I can get more lessons with him. We don't know anything about him. He just kind of
MIA.
one day didn't show up to work, and we tried reaching him and just we never heard back from him.
Hey, what
but
if?
he was in the orchestra with Escondido. So
Mm.
maybe they know reached out to Escondido Orchestra, and sure enough, like his name was like in the website. So I reached out to him. Hey, do you guys know about Mr. like Thomas Duncan? Right, that's his full
Oh yeah,
name.
Thomas Duncan.
By the way, if you're seeing this, I just wanna. Uh, I want to get lessons on the violin. What the heck? I'm trying
Hey,
to be good.
hey, hold on. Hey, if you're watching this, Mr. Duncan, hey, I respect. I mean, he had the cleanest like office, bro.
He
And
had
it
the
always smelled good
he
too,
had the
man.
cleanest office.
And it smelled so good.
He would always wear penguin, and I
Oh
didn't know
yeah, the polo.
I didn't know that was a flex, but he would wear penguin, bro.
Back in
This dude
010.
was
I
like,
mean 09.
this dude
10,
was
yeah.
like fly before I even knew what the heck, and he could play the violin. Anyways, this guy was like
He was cool. Hey, I
super
never.
cool. I just
Yeah.
didn't, I couldn't, what's it called, value it at the time. But
We didn't appreciate it. Yeah.
I reached out to them. Hey, do you guys know him? Yeah, he used to be part of this, but no, we don't know about him. And then obviously I did a little. I kind of went a little bit more extreme, and I started looking at like maybe the jail system, seeing if he was like maybe in there. And there's a couple Thomas Duncans in jail, but they were all like 60, 50. And I said he can't be even 60, 40 right now. This was probably like 30. Close to 40.
Yeah, close to 40s, man. Maybe. Yeah.
At that time, he was like, "No, this can't be him." So, I know he was from Germany.
No,
He studied in Germany.
No, he's German.
He's German. He
yeah,
himself is German.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm assuming he's from the U.S., but his roots are from Germany. Yeah.
So, anyways, I just wanted to reach out to him so I can get violin lessons and kind of appreciate, what he did, because I did have aspirations. I still do have aspirations. I just have to obviously. I need money to get get the classes, So.
Hey, do you remember we used to like? Hey, I mean, look, like
Mr.
I said,
Duncan, if you're there, please find a way to reach me
Hey,
at my email.
Mr.
And I'm
Duncan.
trying to get lessons so I can be I can play Bach.
Hey, Mr. Duncan, if you're watching this, I just want to say I have a lot of respect for you. I know teaching 30 middle school kids was not
Instruments,
easy.
bro.
Instruments from zero. Remember,
we would play sword fights with the bow.
With the bow, and like remember, like we would always like get out the
rosin.
The rosin, yeah, with the horsetail hair on the thing. And okay, so that is like I said, man, my respects to him, bro.
I'm in a couple like organizations, and I have to say, like, music or administrating anything music is a freaking challenge.
And especially if you're teaching kids,
man. Bro. So,
kids that can't even like, bro. Remember we would like get up and like walk around the class, like we couldn't even sit like for like 10, 15 minutes, man. It was hard for us. Yeah.
It definitely a couple. Maybe not us, but a couple students would get on his nerves, right, and would just walk out.
Yeah,
so
I remember that. Yeah.
And I remember he showed us Fantasia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Disney thing.
Disney
yeah.
one.
And then remember the broom?
The broom. Yeah. So,
yeah, bro.
Dude, he would take us he would somehow get tickets to go see
right there in downtown.
Right there in downtown. They just opened it right now.
Dude, okay, I kid you not, bro. That building kind of creeped me out. Because okay, so you remember the parking structure inside that building?
I don't remember.
Okay, so like,
cause we would just walk.
No, yeah, but like, I mean, you can see where the cars will go in and out.
Oh.
And then like on one side of the road, or like on one side of the block, it was only like an exit, and then the other side of the block it would be in like the entrance. Since it was downtown, it had to be that way.
Yeah.
Because of traffic or whatever. But I was like, dude, every time we would go in there, I was like, dude, like, if we get like an earthquake, like this thing's gonna go down, bro. It's over, yeah. And then, you remember we had like our middle school dance up there, the same building.
Cortez.
No. It was the one.
I didn't go.
You didn't go
to the dance.
Oh, well, we had like some dance.
Cause even though I was still a kid, but that's kind of something like church doesn't encourage you to go to dances. But so I didn't go.
No, I mean I didn't really.
But the Cortez, like now I'm trying to go to the Cortez and like see how cool it is.
Cool, man.
I haven't been there, man. I gotta go. Maybe we
That's
can
cool.
maybe we can shoot it there the next time we do it.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Duncan, if you're out there, appreciate you. And he
Mr.
took us.
Duncan.
He would take us to Old Town to perform.
Yeah,
So
you remember? Did you come out?
it was amazing.
I think you came out on the news.
Yeah, I came out on the
You
news.
came on the news.
I actually just
yeah.
showed my girlfriend the video, and she was like, "What the heck? You're there?" And
That's crazy.
yeah, I was there with David, bro. It was a good.
David.
That's why I appreciate Mr. Duncan. I was a troublemaker, and
Mhm.
Mr. Duncan said, I just remember I told Mr. Duncan, "Hey, I want to be an advanced worker." So he said, "Do you really want to? You're gonna put in the work?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, okay, well, you gotta show me."
Mhm.
And he took a chance on me, and that was the best experience I've had. That's one of the best experiences. I wish obviously I had taken more advantage of that and
Mhm.
kind of crafted my skills, but
You know, one.
God's plan. God works in so many ways that like
Mysterious
it's
ways.
just
Yeah.
amazing that I feel back. There's high school. I was nothing about violin, just choir, and then right now I'm just like so immersed into it.
Mhm.
It's thank God for his plan.
Music has always been. It's always gonna be around, and if when you start studying it, and it's like, it's something amazing. But an instrument that really catches my attention,
Yeah.
like by just listening to it, it's called a valve trombone.
Valve trombone.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how a trombone, you have to like go up and down to
Oh
make
yeah,
like the
yeah.
valve, like it's like the valve noise.
Oh okay.
So a valve trombone is a trombone. It has the keys of the trumpet,
Yeah.
and it has the valve of the trombone. So it's
Oh,
like two
shoot.
in one,
Yeah, yeah.
like a trumpet and a trombone together. And man, it sounds.
Is that the one that's a little bit on the darker brown side?
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Yeah,
up?
but I mean, it's like it has. Okay, you know how the trombone has like a little thing that
Yeah, yeah,
wraps
yeah.
around. It's like that. So
Oh,
think of it
okay.
like it looks like a trombone, but it has keys like a
Oh,
trumpet.
I see, I see, I see.
Right where the trumpet has its
Yeah,
keys,
yeah.
it's like that.
Damn.
But it's awesome, man.
Dude, we should definitely, obviously,
should
on
make
another time when I have a little bit, when I'm a little bit more, when God blesses me, a little bit more on that, financial side, which is coming soon.
Yeah.
We should go hit up the symphony down in downtown.
We should hit up Mr. Duncan and be like, "Hey, Mr. Duncan."
Dude, I once
Man.
again, bro, when I was thinking like, okay, who do I have that can like help me, can be like kind of my mentor in anything, like there's people that like can definitely like urban planning. Like I just found the mentor right now, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome, man.
That same guy from Poway, because there's a senior planner that really wanted me, but obviously the director makes the final decision. But I still am in contact with him. He's a good mentor. But Mr. Duncan, I just said, man, if I'm falling in love with classical, like he can be my mentor. But just I don't know if he went back to I don't know what he did. I don't know if he had an accident or anything like that. But just wanted to reach out and like maybe spark that thing that spark my love for violin and
I
get
think you
better
should,
at it.
man.
And
No,
he was
really.
a good teacher.
I mean, think about it. Like, if you want to do something in life, just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you gotta be reasonable, right? But I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, go for it. I mean, like going back to like the whole mentors and all that stuff. In high school, you know, hey man, in high school I had like the best experience.
Yeah. How was high school for you? Because you didn't really go into it. We kind of
and we drifted off. But anyway, so in high school it was amazing, man. So in high school, so I went to can I say the name?
You can say it.
Well, it's called Health Sciences High, and it's more of like of a medical field type of thing.
Yeah.
Like environmental, medical field school. So like I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to do anything that has to do with the medical field.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an architect, right? That's how we just kind of like clicked in a way, yeah. So I remember the first week. So my older brother was already there. So like he was already like he was known in high school, and one of the guys that pretty much like the founder of the school.
Yeah.
He I just became good friends with him. Shout out to Fisher. If you're watching this, I love you. I respect you, and thank you for not giving up on me because I was a trouble kid, and thanks to him, I was able to study architecture all my 4 years of high school,
Oh,
and then
shoot.
like 2 years in college in Cuyamaca.
What type of like in high school studies did you do? Like for
Type
architecture?
architecture.
Yeah.
I was, oh man, it's been a while.
Like programs like AutoCAD?
Yeah. So I was the only student in the high school studying architecture.
Damn,
So
bro,
I had to learn.
I should have gone there.
Dude, I know, man. What, you went to
I went to High Tech
High
High.
Tech High Point Loma, right?
Media Arts, yeah.
Right there by Liberty Station.
By Liberty Station.
Did you ever go to Corvette Diner?
Heck yeah.
Dude, that was good. Milkshakes.
It's not good right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's more for kids, you know.
Yeah. The milkshakes are good though.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna go just for
yeah,
a milkshake, you know.
Well, anyways, going back to the high school. So I was the only one studying architecture, and man, I had it easy, bro. Cause like, so shout out again to Fisher. He's the one that provided my laptop, the AutoCAD.
Did was he an architect or?
No, so like, okay, so he has his PhD in so many, like he has like a couple of degrees, but he's actually he's a professor in SDSU. Yeah.
Fisher. Okay.
Fisher, Douglas Fisher. That's his full name. So when we graduated from high school, we had it there in SDSU. We graduated
shoot.
right there at the
At the Viejas.
No. At the Open something theater.
Oh,
where,
the Cow Coast.
Yeah, like when you walk in, you're like all the way on top. You gotta make your way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I graduated there. Yeah.
I think it's the Cow Coast like amphitheater.
Yeah, it's
by the
cool.
library.
Yeah. It was like kind of like in the middle of everything, but anyway, so yeah, thanks to him, man, like, and I was a troubled kid, dude. Like I told him straight up, like, you're just wasting your time on me. I don't want to study. I don't want to be part of this high school anymore. I just came here because my brother's here, and I told him
just
straight
following
up,
his path.
Yeah, and like no, and I told him like, hey, my mom wanted us
together
at the same school, you know, and then he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be an architect. I don't want to be like here. And then he's like, all right. And then he spoke to me privately. And he's like, hey, well, you know, I'm willing to help you out. And thank God he did, man. And he's been a true blessing in my life until this day, man.
Yeah.
I have good communication with him. And then
do you know what degree he has? Like what?
I know he has a degree in communication, and then he was a paramedic.
Oh, okay.
And like an EMT, then paramedic, and then yeah, so he has like a variety, man. So,
what happened? So you did architecture in Cuyamaca for 2 years as well?
AutoCAD, yeah, I was in AutoCAD,
and then like what
happened? What
was the outcome? Yeah.
Okay, so after high school I applied at Northridge in CSUN.
Northridge, yeah.
So I got accepted, man, full scholarship, everything, full ride.
But they didn't have architecture, right?
No.
Yeah, because I got into Northridge too, and I said, well, they don't have architecture. Yeah. Why am I gonna go?
So yeah, that's the thing. So I'm like, but then, I don't know why I applied to that school, but that was the only school that accepted me. But they didn't have the major I was looking at that I wanted to study, so I just didn't go, man. I didn't go, but then if you think about it, how would my life like be if I lived in LA out there by myself, and like I wouldn't even be where I am now, and,
right?
You know, especially in the things with God. But anyways,
but yeah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, he was a big help, dude. Like I'm talking like everything, and then he introduced me into like public speaking. So
right.
Yeah, so he got me into public speaking. I really enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed, like, he would take me to like during summer. We did a keynote in Washington D.C. It was the first time I ever been on a plane, dude. Wow. I went from San Diego to D.C. with him and my mentor, and dude, everything was just included, paid for. We stayed at the Gaylord Hotel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, up there?
Up there. So like back then it was only like an East Coast thing. It wasn't, I mean, now that they built it here on Chula Vista. So dude, it was amazing, bro.
Dude.
Great.
I didn't go see that, but the hotel here is cool too.
Beautiful, man. Yeah.
I wanted to do that with my friend, but he told me I don't want to be in no Gaylord Hotel. So
I mean, the name is funny.
Hey, but this guy is a billionaire, so.
No, I mean, look. Yeah. Okay. So Fisher. Hey, shout out to Fisher.
You can do that.
You can. I mean, dude, that's one of the guys I wanted to interview.
Gaylord or Fisher?
No, Fisher. Yeah. Listen, I don't know who Gaylord is, but Fisher, man. I mean, he can just talk and share his experiences, man.
What happened after Cuyamaca? Why didn't you pursue
okay, so
architecture undergrad?
So when I was in Cuyamaca, I was there for 2 years, and then
life
happened, and then I was in college, man. So like, I wasn't taking it serious. I was just like, I would tell my mom, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be in class, and then I'll be somewhere else.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So like, I didn't really care much of it, probably because I had a lot of things under my belt, like in high school and stuff. But now that I
Yeah,
think about it, it's like, man, I should have just like
gone.
gone. I should have just like stayed and
So
just.
what happened after 2 years? You just dropped out.
I just dropped out, and then like obviously like I didn't get like scholarship or anything,
Yeah.
so I had to like work. And for like a year straight I was working full time and then going to school at night. So like, but dude, it was tough, man. It's tough, dude. It really like, you know,
You
it
know,
really take.
I kind of resented uh, not only architecture but just the whole college experience. I wanted to be an architect. I still want to be.
Mhm.
It's a little bit difficult right now, which is why I also need a, you know, job, and which is why I'm doing the things that I'm doing right now for that purpose,
Mhm.
so I can get a master's in architecture. Because I got, just like you, I got accepted to Cal Poly Pomona Architecture,
Yeah.
College of Environmental Design, or San Diego State. I got accepted
Wow.
to other ones too. I think Northridge was one that I got accepted to, but there was no architecture. So I was talking to a friend of mine who he wanted to be an architect, then changed to be a urban planner,
Mhm.
and he told me, bro, urban design, urban planning, San Diego State. So I said, okay, it's kind of similar. Let's do it. And I wanted to go to Cal Poly Pomona, and not throwing anyone under the bus, just it wasn't feasible. I was going to have to pay 5,000 out of pocket,
Man,
and for my family, 5,000 is
just right then and there. Yeah.
it's yeah, it's not,
It's tough.
it's tough, you know,
Mhm.
because my dad at that time was working really good. My mom was also working really good, but just to drop 5,000, it's like it's gonna take a hit,
No, yeah,
and
definitely.
not
Yeah.
and it's an event. So San Diego State was the best financial situation, even though there was also a little bit of where you're gonna go there but live by yourself. You might become a
Mhm.
junkie, alcoholic,
Yeah.
and I see. I kind of resent that feeling. It happens, of course, but I always have seen that as a challenge of I'll overcome it. You know. Now
Mhm.
that could obviously always go. You never know, right? Because you're never there. But I just like to think that I would have perhaps had the stamina to, still keep my faith. And I was growing more in my faith, right, at that time. I
Mhm.
was 14 years old. I was 18 at that time now.
Yeah.
So I would just have loved to think that I would have been one of the good examples, That's kind of what I was hoping for. Anyways, I went to San Diego State, and I was kind of bored. I was like, urban planning, I don't really want to do this. And then you need to do GEs, right? You need to
Yeah.
do like
G's.
things that you don't want to do, right? I wanted to hit the ground running,
Yeah. Right in the beginning. Yeah.
and exactly, and so, man, it was just I was up by myself. I was hanging out with Kevin at the time, and all,
Oh yeah,
all he
Kevin.
wanted to do was go to the gym, and I did want to, but anyways, the whole point was that I mismanaged my time, and I was looking at academic probation, and then
Me
the
too.
next year I kind of picked myself up a little bit more. The second year I was doing opera too, so that's where I kind of got more into it.
Mhm.
And anyways, the whole point was that I got more into urban planning. Didn't really understand why, but I just then found the once you're in your junior year, third year, fourth year, then you get into the meat and bones of urban planning,
Mhm.
as any other degree, and then you kind of start understanding, okay, there's something here that's interesting. Urban design is really interesting. You look at Old Town, it's just like a cool place to be here.
I
Like
love it here, man.
here or Barrio Logan, and you think,
Oh
why
yeah.
doesn't Barrio Logan look like Old Town, right? Or why doesn't Barrio Logan look like Liberty Station? There's many reasons why, and urban planning has a lot of those answers, as far as why it
Mm.
looks like that, rather than architecture. Architecture would just be, well, why does my building look like this compared to the Chrysler building? There's different
Yeah,
reasons why, the
Chrysler.
functionality, different architect, different times as
Yeah.
well. But urban planning is more about the community and the reason why it looks like that, the reason why there's facilities there, the reason why another community just looks better, has parking, doesn't have parking, is more walkable. So I started looking at that. I started also researching communities and cities. Brazil is a different city,
Brazil is
different
it's
country,
awesome, man.
everything. Yeah, and I haven't had
Yeah.
the pleasure of going, but I
Spain,
want
man.
to go. Spain is
Barcelona.
amazing. New York, I had the pleasure of going to New York. I had the
Oh really?
pleasure of, yeah,
Mm.
2022, 2022, I got to go for Christmas. And
Wow. You got family out there, or
no, I
or
just went with my mom. We went to
Wow,
go hang
really?
out. It was amazing.
That's cool, man.
It
That's
was cool
impressive.
traveling with my mom. You know, my mom, she grew up in TJ, never really traveled. I mean, for her honeymoon, she and my dad, I think they went to Manzanillo.
Oh, I know where that is.
I don't know where that is, but she had never
Yeah, that's more
traveled to
down.
anywhere like that. So New York, you know, I just thought it was I wanted to go by myself, to be honest. But there's a point where I just said, well, hey, aside from her perspective, you know, she's never traveled to New York, and so for me, it was cool architecture and all that. But for her, it's like she got to go somewhere, you know, that her grandparents never got to go, and she got to experience the big city. So it was cool to do that with her. My dad was still kind of a little bit scared because New York is a big city. COVID was still
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
around, so he decided to stay. But it was cool for me, and so I'm learning about urban planning and all that, and then I'm thinking I want to do architecture. I still want to do architecture. So there's a part of me that kind of resented the college pathway or the college design. Not no pun intended. The college architecture and the way it's set up, right? Where you have to do still basic math and English, whereas maybe some European schools you want to be architect, all your classes are architecture based, something
Wow.
to do with architecture. You want to be a doctor, all your school is gonna be according to that field, right? So you don't have to take oceanography because it's gonna complete a general education, which I'm telling you that because I had to do that. Geology. I had to take also. What else did I have to take? I think I took like a religious study. That was just me for my. I had to do a general education,
Yeah.
so I said, well, let me do religion. You know, I was in there. Definitely not what I was hoping for, but anyway, so I did it, and then I resent a little bit of college because there was a little bit more studying with books. So, for example, if you, Augustine, still want to do architecture, I I was looking at community college classes for architecture, introduction to architecture, and I found the syllabus. And in the syllabus, it says the text that you're required to read, and then the syllabus has all the books you're gonna read. So
Okay.
I kind of took a copy of that. Obviously, I said, well, maybe I'll do a master's because it's a lot of reading and I have to, you know, graduate. So I have to focus on urban planning. But I just, for anyone out there that kind of thinks that I didn't go to college, so I'm never gonna be an architect or all, you know, a lot of architecture classes they give you a book and you read it and then the professor talks more into depth about it, but everyone is reading the book.
Yeah.
And in the book and then you can go on YouTube now and learn how to use AutoCAD and
Yeah.
InDesign, and you can
Uh,
learn how to use Revit, right? And
yeah. AutoCAD was cool, man.
the
It's yeah.
only difference was that if you're a college student or you have a .edu, you get you get the Autodesk's applications for free for a year, so you wouldn't have to pay for those softwares. But the books, the theory, right, which is like probably the most important thing, because you can learn how to use Revit, but if you don't know the theory of architecture, then you won't know how to design. I guess
Yeah.
is it's important. But I saw, man, maybe I don't have to take these classes. There's an architect called Tadao Ando. If have you ever heard of Kanye's Malibu house? No,
No, but I
that it
no,
got
but
gutted out and he kind of destroyed it.
nah, I haven't heard
Anyway,
of.
so Tadao Ando, he's a Japanese architect, and he is self-taught, has no degree in architecture, and
What?
he's one of the and he got a Pritzker Prize.
Wow.
So that's kind of the Nobel Peace Prize. That's kind of the Nobel Prize for scientists. That's kind of the Nobel Prize, not for scientists. This is Nobel Prize
Architects.
for architects, and I set my eyes on that prize. Obviously, it's a long road, right? They do it based off like not not because you're an architect you're gonna get it. You need to also display like a whole history of making architecture, and he does a lot of brutalist. His style is more brutalist architecture, so it's a lot of cement, It's a lot of minimalism. Obviously, Japan, if you know anything about the culture, they're
Oh
very
yeah.
minimalist, even in their characters, their drawings. Um,
Japan is
I
an
would
amazing
argue, I would
country though.
argue that, yeah, it's a cool country
Yeah.
too. I would argue that anime is a little bit more maximalist,
That's a thing out.
right?
Yeah, the
Because
crazy thing
you
out
look at
there.
Dragon Ball Z, or it was Dragon Ball Z Japan,
Yeah,
Japanese.
Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not simple, right? But it's
Mhm.
there's a couple things like the clouds look pretty simple. Anyways, the I started thinking if I just look at the whole thing, right, for architecture,
Mhm.
perhaps I can take a picture of the syllabus because I was gonna take that class
Mhm.
in the future. I never did, but I thought I can start reading the books that are in that syllabus, and by the time I take that class, I'm ahead. I understand. I cannot. Now I'm not. Now I'm not just there with the teacher. I'll be having a full convo with the
Mhm.
teacher. So anyone that thinks you can't be like, oh yeah, I would just suggest just look at the syllabus, see what books they're reading, read those books. At the end of the day, a lot of the theory is in books. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a cool architect called Rem Koolhaus. That's why
Mhm.
my Instagram is Urban Koolhaus, cause his last name is
Ah,
Koolhaus. But
I always wondered that. Like, how'd you?
and I thought it was a funny thing because his name is, it's not spelled, but it's Cool House. Sometimes pronounced, but sometimes I was looking at it because it has double A and an S, and I was like,
Mm.
cool ass. I was like, oh, Urban Cool ass. He started as a writer, critiquing architects and architecture, and then he even was doing film, um,
Mhm.
and then he got into architecture. And he also has a Pritzker Prize. He's from the Netherlands, but he has offices in obviously in the Netherlands, Rotterdam, and in New York.
Uh,
So it was just something that I thought was super dope. And then obviously I fell in love with Frank Gehry,
Frank
just
Gary
seeing
Wright.
that his architecture is more like an art piece. So I you know that's kind of a path that I resent college for that reason because I can just look at the syllabus. So yeah, there's a part of me that kind of loses hope. Like, damn, college kind of sucks,
Mhm.
because it didn't go the way I thought it would go. But I also know, well, I don't really have to take those classes and pay that money if I don't have it. I could look at the syllabus
Learn from that. Yeah.
and take a screenshot and read those books because in those books there's gonna be theory, there's gonna be introductions,
Mhm.
and yeah, like it's not over basically. Self learn,
You know,
teach yourself.
whoever wants to become someone in life, it's always gonna find a way, man.
Yeah,
It's always gonna. You gotta motivate yourself and just be like, like you said, man. There's other ways of learning, dude. Yeah.
yeah.
You
So
know.
it for me it was just it was that whole thing, and I was saying, well,
Mm.
I'm gonna teach myself. I'm going to I'll do college without actually enrolling, right? I'll
Mhm.
do the college course without actually enrolling, and I'll have more knowledge in that way, because at the end of the day, all you go to college for is to have more knowledge.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you
Learn
get
more.
connections there
Yeah.
because obviously that's the one thing that you won't have, the connections, the teachers,
Mhm.
and because the schools, right? So I didn't know about that, but and it's not really a conspiracy, but it's just there's companies, there's schools, right? That they in a way I don't know what resources, but there's a trade off, right?
Mhm.
You take these students into your job, and and we give you this, right?
Mhm.
Um, or like send us your students, right? And we give you this. So there's like a negotiation amongst the colleges and the workforce.
For sure.
So there's like a direct uh, there's a direct chain. You understand? That's why some people
Mhm.
that go to, that's why the Ivy Leagues, why? Because it's not only that they're prestige, but like they have those connections where like if you're there, you're most likely gonna be able to work for these sort of companies.
Yeah. That's
and
true, man.
and yeah, so that's the one thing you won't get if you're self-taught, but
Mhm.
definitely you'll be able to take those college courses and without having, because at the end of the
Mhm.
day, if it's books, and then it's books. Some dude, I always shout out this guy named G Tech,
Mhm.
because he connected me with the professor from UCSD, that I think he was retiring, but he was an urban planner teacher. So he had a bunch of books, and now I have a full library of urban planning books.
Oh,
And
really?
so when I was thinking, am I gonna get a master's in urban planning? I said, well, I have all these books. Why would I get an urban planning? Why would I spend money? Anyways, the whole point is also my master's is at Cal Baptist,
Mm-hmm.
100 grand for 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
In Cal Poly Pomona, it's 36 for 3 years. And in New School of Architecture, I need to meet with them because I've heard it's 30, 10 a year, or it might if it's 10 a year, that's perfect. But then there's another that I remember that it might be like 10,000 a semester.
I actually applied there.
A quarter. So if it's a quarter, that's also 100 grand.
No, yeah, it's 100 grand or more. Because I know because I applied there.
Okay.
Yeah, the one in downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to their like they had like they had like an actual like like event or something.
Yeah.
For like the ones that applied, and dude, it was like 50, 100 students, and they give you a whole tour of like the two buildings, but it's a trade school, so at the end of the day, it's gonna be. I mean, it's a good school. It's a great school, but it's gonna be expensive.
USD also has architecture, a master's.
Really?
And you know what? I thought UCSD had an architecture, and I thought they had a master's in architecture because that's why I stayed in San Diego, because I thought, well, UCSD has a master's, so I can always get that after. But
dude, my dream school was NYU. NYU has the best architecture, like New York University.
Oh yeah, right.
Has the best architecture in the whole entire country. Yeah, I mean that was like my dream, right?
Yeah.
But, man, dude, that school is so expensive, and it's like, it's crazy because it's like right in the middle of downtown.
Right, yeah.
Right,
I've
so
been
it's
to
like,
it. I saw it.
You saw it? Okay, well,
you
dude,
wouldn't even notice it's this college because it's just like walking through a regular street.
Regular street? Okay, yeah. So that's how it is, and dude, that was my dream school, man, NYU.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, it's expensive, man. Yeah.
So that's just something that God doesn't always give you the easy path, right? Because I don't know what you think about this, right? But I kind of got a little bit into philosophy, and so kind of hearing the arguments of a lot of people that are atheists, and so that's still something that maybe like the very, very, very far left, they believe like, if God is so good, why did he why isn't every situation so favorable? But I started to think that we have this free will where we can choose to do it, and like we have a lot of proof that things are determined, right? There's like a plan, even if things are gonna happen the way for a reason, right? And then you also have this feeling inside of you, so you have proof of both. And so that's kind of the argument for a lot of atheists, right? Like, well, if something is already determined, then your free will doesn't really exist. But we feel the feeling, right? We love things, right? You love apples. I might not love apples. You have this feeling in you that's like, was that logical? Was that determined? No, right? You just feel it, right? There's something in you. You have logical thoughts and things like that. So, there's kind of I kind of also went through that path of trying to understand, like, yeah, how come I didn't get that? Why am I not an architect if it's a good thing? But I think, the more I find myself in this position, that's kind of the hard truth of God's plan, that you have to, as a human, you only learn through going through the fire, right? Because you can't just live life having everything handed to you, or else you don't grow, you don't become the man you're supposed to be.
You won't know the value of.
And for girls, the lady you're supposed to be. But
that's different.
Right. Yeah. So the more I think about it, the more I find peace knowing that my story's not over, because I get anxious, bro, honestly, thinking about the future.
You get frustrated, I mean, because you want it now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand, but you just have to be patient.
I never forget about this. because I went to church one day, and one of my friends' dad, he was, I don't know I don't know how it is in your church, but over here, I can give the Sunday school is always for the pastor, right? He always does that.
Yeah.
And every time he has to give something new, like a notification, something like that, he'll always then take the pulp. Is it pulp?
Pulpit.
Pulpit.
Yeah.
Pulp is like the fruit.
Pulpit. Yeah.
But regular members throughout the week, they'll preside the whatever was the topic from Sunday school. So one of my friends' father, he was saying how King David, according to this, scientists, archaeologists, they say he was about 15, 13 years old when the prophet Saul, or prophet Samuel,
Samuel, when he got
when he told him, you're gonna be the next king.
the next king, yeah.
He was a young boy.
He was with the sheep.
He was with the sheep, tending the sheep. And in the Bible, it does tell us that he became king at 30 years old.
Yeah.
So
you pretty much like told him like this is what's gonna happen to you,
and it didn't happen tomorrow.
No?
It took 15. If we're gonna agree that he was around 15 years old, let's even say he was maybe like 18, 20. That's still 10 years. That's still a long time.
Still a long time.
So I put myself in those shoes. I'm like, God promised that to him, and he didn't see that until he was 30.
So he became, yeah.
So how can I not be patient?
You know, the Bible says a lot about being patient, man. It teaches you about being patient, and look what happened to Abraham. Like, you know, he wanted a son, but his wife couldn't have kids, and you know what ended up happening. His wife was like, "Well, have a kid with the servant, with the the girl," and that's what he did. But that wasn't part of God's plan.
Right.
Obviously, Ishmael was born because of
Iran.
Yeah, and but yeah, he was born, but God still blessed him, and descendants came from him now, but it wasn't part of God's plan.
Right.
But that's when God's mercy comes to play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So obviously there's like a meme, but who's the twins that when they came out they're like holding?
Oh,
that's Jacob, right? Jacob and
yeah, I think it was Jacob and
Esau.
Yeah. So one of the twins
was like holding.
Yeah, but
they came out the womb kind of fighting, right?
Yeah, they were fighting. In the womb. So and then Jacob later became Israel because he fought with the angel.
And Esau became Iran.
Yeah, I think I gotta go back and reread. But
no, but that was a meme. That was a meme because they've been in conflict,
Well, yeah, but okay. No, okay, but I mean, but what you said was true though about that. I mean, yeah, he was like the twins. I mean, one of them stole the blessing. So
that's true. Yeah.
So one was like extremely hairy, like hairy.
Right. So he put on the fake.
Yeah, the fake like fur, animal fur. Yeah. So because the dad was like blind in a way, so like he couldn't. He just thought it was his other son.
Right.
Because he touched his arm, and he took his blessing. Yeah.
That's true.
But
I mean, he gave it up too. Like his brother told me, "Hey, make me a play, and I'll give you my blessings." All right. Say less.
You know what's crazy though? Like, I mean, if it wasn't
for them.
Yeah, no, but I mean, going back to Jacob. So if it wasn't like for Jacob fighting the angel, which was God, right? Well, because he was like he wouldn't let go of his hip. Like he was fighting for that blessing.
Right, and said that he had like cut deep.
Yeah, like he fought like physically.
He
right?
just wouldn't let go.
Yeah, wouldn't let go. And then he was okay. What do you want? He's like, well,
bless me.
I want to be blessed. And he's okay. He's like, well, your name is now Israel. Yeah. So if it wasn't God changing his name, Israel would have been Jacob.
Right,
the country would have been named Jacob, and the Israelites will be like Jacob was.
Jacobites.
Yeah. So like everything happens for a reason, and like in the Bible, like some people will be like, oh, well, the Bible's an old book. This and that, but dude, the Word of God is still alive.
Yeah.
And
in politics, I do believe perhaps in like separation of church and state. Which is kind of a conflict, right? Because a lot of the laws are based on the gods. what God teaches us that is right and wrong. Um, but anyways, I think that yeah, I mean everyone can definitely be right. We live in the United States. Everyone can be what they want to be, as long as you're not hurting someone or impeding on someone else's rights.
Or hurting yourself.
Right, or hurting yourself as well. Even though yeah. So there's a couple questions that I still kind of like think to myself, right? Like, do you have a right to take yourself out? Um, Obviously God tells us no. You gotta fight it. You gotta see that. You gotta do it to the end. But there's some people that do that. And but anyways, it's just politically. Yeah, you have a you're able to do what you want to do, not hurt anyone, not cause harm. And I think that might be like not being like taken advantage of, but it's just kind of like an extreme situation, which like for example, like the person that I work with, part of the LGBTQ community, and nothing but respect, like at least at my church. I don't know what the teaching has been, but if it doesn't concern us, for me it's always been, you don't have to really give too much ear into it. Like even abortion was like a hot topic. It's like we already know we're not taught to do that. But if someone wants to do that, that's something that they like, or not something that they should do, but it's like as far as the laws, it's like whatever the humans think about it. And I just say humans because everyone's human, so we just kind of try to stay away from things like that. But yeah, we know, like, you have a baby, it's
a blessing.
It's a blessing, and you're gonna see it. And not everyone is always born the way, right? But I mean, you just can't question God's plan.
Oh no, that's one thing that like we cannot do, regardless, is like question him, like, why is this happening to me? Why
right.
You just can't. You just have to, you pray for something, and if it's God's will and he blesses you with it,
right,
you accept it, you move on. If he doesn't, you still accept it and you praise him and you move on.
Yeah,
that's something that a lot of people don't understand,
right?
Obviously, because we're human, we want things and we want it right then and there, and this and that. But sometimes you just have to accept, like, okay, like, thank you, Lord. It wasn't your will. Maybe it was gonna hurt me. It was gonna affect me in a certain way, and maybe I won't even be in church anymore. Or, like, stuff like that.
Right.
That's what you gotta think about sometimes. Yeah.
I think the hardest thing is that when we talk about God's plan, and this was something that I was talking to my friend at the first podcast. I said, and I didn't know it had like such a profound sentiment, or I didn't know it'd be profound for me. But I said, we don't know what's God's plan. So we can utter the words, it was God's plan, or we have desires, right? And we can utter the words, it was God's plan, or it wasn't God's plan. Or we can say, right, but we don't know.
Yeah, no.
Well, we just, it's just a mystery that we'll never know. But I mean, who else are you gonna confide in, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know when he's gonna be back.
You don't know what his plan is. So, like, all those people that kind of said, why would he
allow things to happen?
Yeah. Or like, why am I in this position, or why am I blessed and why is he not blessed? It's like it's all God's plan, and you just hope your actions, right, your free will, like, aligns with the plan.
The thing is, God allows things to happen, like people to get sick, things happen in their lives, because God is testing your faith,
right?
And he wants to see how, like, faithful you are to him, because without faith, God doesn't move.
Yeah.
So, I mean, faith can move mountains. So, that's something that I always like I like to remind myself.
Yeah.
And just things like that we need to like just be faithful to him, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, no matter what happens in our lives. We just have to continue and have faith in him, and only he knows why.
Right, exactly. He knows why, and I think even when I look at people from the right and people from the left,
Mm-hmm.
it's always the extreme points of views. When I think
Yeah.
in reality the country is more like in the middle.
Yeah,
But the
because
most polarizing things are the extremes, right? And so
hmm
I think those are the hot topics because this will get more attention, more views,
oh
things like that.
yeah, for sure,
So
yeah.
I try to stay in the middle, and just I know what is right and wrong according to what God teaches me, and
hmm
then I just stay in try to stay in the middle, and
Yeah.
not go too even like not go too right, not go too left.
Well, you think about it, the middle is God's path,
Yeah,
and if you start drifting to the left or to the right, you're already making a mistake,
yeah, yeah.
and because your focus is not in God. Like,
Right.
think about it this way, man. Like in the Bible, it talks about when Peter walked on water,
Yeah, yeah. And he
but
doubted.
and he doubted, and well, he had little faith, yeah, and he doubted. Well, no, he just had he didn't have faith that he could do what he did.
Right.
So what happened? Like he started drowning.
Singing.
Yeah, he started singing. Yeah, and because he saw the what like the chaos that was around him. So
Yeah.
like his focus wasn't anymore like it wasn't on Christ anymore. It was on
Oh my
the
God, I'm
problem.
walking.
Yeah. No, well his well not just that, but it
Oh
was
no, he
because
saw he saw
he saw
the
the waves
the
and the wind.
waves, and
Yeah.
he was like, oh
So
my God,
like
I'm gonna drown.
so that's like the problems
Yeah.
around you, right? That's like the obviously right something that's very obvious that you can see,
Yeah, yeah,
but your faith and your focus, your sight needs to be on Christ,
yeah.
on Lord. So that's why he's the one. I mean, he's the one that allowed him to walk on water.
Exactly.
Only him can walk on. Only he can
Right,
walk on water.
right.
So it's like, if he can give you the strength, if he gave him the chance to walk on water,
Did that miracle, in
did
other
that
words.
miracle, yeah. I mean,
He
what
can do
else
what?
can
Yeah, right.
why can't like what something that God can't do? You know what I mean? So, but you need to keep your focus on him.
Yeah,
Yeah, at all
man.
times, man.
Keep your focus on him.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah, that's
It's the only
true.
way. I mean, it's the only answer to everything.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely don't like to. I always encourage people
Mm-hmm.
to, follow Christ and things like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like to impose. Obviously, that's probably one of the things that we love to we at my church love to do. We don't like
Mm-hmm.
to impose or force people, right? If you want to, the path's always there, right? Because even Jesus said to his disciples, they told him, right, hey, the people are leaving. He said,
Yeah.
let them leave. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to go, you guys
Exactly.
you can go, right? So there's never been a force, but I think I don't know. I think the world maybe, and like I said, these can just be extreme points, and the whole world can just be normal, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this is like what you kind of see on tape, on like social media, like all these extreme points, and I feel like just most of the country, whether you're for one party or another party, you just look at you're like in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting topic to see like how I used to be I used to watch a lot of the Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Kimmel. In high school, I was like, I would say more
Jimmy
blue,
Kimmel. Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, and then COVID hit me, bro. Especially the COVID vaccine, and like my dad, you know, not to. I mean, I already mentioned them, but I didn't want to like throw anybody under the bus, but I mean, at that time, I was like feeding into the media, and I was thinking, man, this is a daily disease, and I shouldn't go out. I wanted to go play basketball still, but my dad was a little bit on edge. So
Yeah.
we Barrio Logan, man, and this is like a great point. He wouldn't let me go. I mean, I wouldn't say like let me go, like if I couldn't walk out the house.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just always like, hey, don't go, man. Like, why are you gonna go? So it was like it would have just always caused an argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere we would go, he'd always be super super conservative with the way he would take care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, the whole point was that I started kind of listening to Joe Rogan a lot at that
Joe
time,
Rogan.
and he had a couple interesting people on about like COVID and things like that, and obviously learned a lot about Fauci.
He started going to church now, actually.
And
Yeah.
we were doing Zoom prayers, because we couldn't be together.
or like just live, like watch the live or something.
Which I thought that was like very whack, right?
Oh, yeah.
You closed down
a
all
lot of churches.
small businesses
Yeah.
were done, devastated. The economy was down. I mean, the 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 and I got scammed, bro, because I fed into the forex, not the legit forex,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the other pyramid schemes, you know. And so
So
it was
Forex.
insane. But just to long story less long, I couldn't go, and this was actually something I researched in college. I couldn't go to that because my dad would see Barrio Logan, the basketball courts,
Yeah,
as like
so
a nasty, dirty court. And he's right, man. You should go there. There's leaves. There's like a gate. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I know what you're
So
talking about,
I thought, I want to go outside. I don't want to stay in the house. I need to go get some sunlight. Um, I don't know what it did to me, bro. It got me depressed. I said, I know where my dad would love it, Liberty Station. And I said, Dad, let's go to Liberty Station and play basketball. And he was down, you know. So there was a change,
yeah.
and then we went there. And he said, "Man, I've never been here. It's so clean. It's so nice. It was lonely too." And I told him, "Yeah, this is why I used to go to." Well, he knew I went to high school there, but he had never seen that part of it. So we spent a lot of time at Liberty Station. Became a good spot, and that's what kind of got me interested. Like, why isn't the barrio like this? You know, why is it dirty? Why is it You go to Chicano Park and the grass is faded, man, and
it's all different.
like, why is it different than Liberty Station? So I started learning about the community. Liberty Station was a naval training center,
and wow, I didn't even know.
And during World War II, then after the war, there was no reason to keep the base open.
Yeah.
So it was just, dude, they mentioned that it was like unnecessary, right? We're gonna take it away, and it's just wasting space. And then San Diego City came in and said, "Nah, we can turn it into something good." They turned it into an amazing place, bro. And then Barrio Logan was really fought for, right? And then they built the bridge over it. They wanted to put a police station. Like people fought for it, and they got it.
Chicano Park.
And there hasn't been like any real I wouldn't say updates, because there's people working on it, but it's just like you go there, and you're like, I look at it from I'm a urban, like, I studied urban planning, so I'll go to, and it's closer to my house, right?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
It's literally crossing the street. I go there, and I just started seeing it from my perspective. Started getting on the just common level, and saying, why is it that my dad, he doesn't know, a lot of urban planning. He doesn't know about like the communities and a lot of this. He's trying to get up to speed now a little bit on the like politics and local government. But at that time, he didn't really know that much. And it was like a cool question to answer. Why is my dad feeling more safe at NTC, Liberty Station, than his own community, And all we're doing is playing basketball. And it was just
like an eyesore.
It was like an eyesore, and that's true, I mean, look at right now. Like, I haven't asked anyone to go shoot the pod at Barrio Logan, because it could be cool to do it there, but it's like, it's not a really appealing place. Old Town, man, amazing. Look at this architecture, right? But Barrio Logan, we don't have good architecture, man. So it becomes a whole thing where, like, if you're an architect, where do you want your building to be? You want it to be, here. You want it to be at Liberty Station, Old Town.
Yeah.
You want it to be
Old Town's
cool spots, man. And so it was just amazing seeing that, man. Right here, these houses were at some point in the Old Town of San Diego, and then they brought them here. And if there's like a little museum that you can go see, how where they were originally from. How are we doing on time? Good.
Kind of, yeah.
You got
5 more minutes.
You got other plans or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 more minutes.
No, we're good.
We're 5 more minutes.
So I guess we should just to go into it and wrap this up, because it's been a great, man.
Dude, part 2 coming up, bro.
Definitely, man. Actually, my last friend also said, man, I gotta come back and do it.
For sure, man.
And
I'm willing to.
you know, that's the one thing I tell everyone. It's not just a one-time thing. Like, definitely we can come back and shoot it again and do a bunch, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's getting a little chilly, man.
Chilly,
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
It's a little cold.
anyways, yeah, just to wrap it up,
For sure, yeah.
I always like wrapping it up. Like, what do you hope to do the second end of 2025? For me,
Yeah.
definitely this job, do it, pass it, just get some money, you know. Start understanding that God's plan is perfect, and
Yes.
it's not gonna be the way you want it to be, but you'll be able to see the beauty in the plan, right? And God always takes me by surprise, because I'm like, wow, definitely when I was 18, 14, if I was in that position, now from hindsight, I wouldn't have been ready for it. Would not have been ready for it. My like lack of character, lack of being stand up. So,
For sure.
you know, doing more of that. Definitely still, I have projects, man, that I want to do, like for Barry Logan. I want to improve the basketball courts. It's like a rusty fence around it, you know.
Like repaint it or just reinstall.
I want to turn it into indoor. Not like, I want to do like a hybrid, like indoor,
at
but
least like a roof on top.
like
or
a
something?
roof on top, you know. And then I want to do it indoor, but not indoor to the point where now we need to talk about like putting air conditioning in. You know, that'd be like another cost. So I'm trying to be how to do it indoor, but like still, not have to worry about all those things. Like,
Yeah, or you can still play when it's raining.
we
type of
still
thing,
play when it's raining.
Or when
It's
it's like piping hot.
yeah, and that's the whole point. And then
Yeah.
hopefully Chicano Park also, man, because it's one of the things I saw at Liberty Station that was amazing. They have corridors, man, and I think that's one of the things that Chicano Park needs. And the corridors is just like a cool thing, right? It's like you're in a tunnel, you're walking
Yeah.
through some place, you know. So that's kind of my plans that I have, and you know, just continue to work, get closer to God, and continue this pod alive, man. There's been a couple, you know, couple delays, couple things here and there. Scheduling has been tough. I didn't realize it'd be kind of tough, not only for the guests, but like also myself. Like, I
Cause you gotta make time for it.
gotta make time for it.
Yeah.
But what about you, man?
Honestly, dude, like my focus is, you know, God, to be grow more spiritually, and like just like you said, like just have my faith in Him,
Yeah.
and you know, focus on my wife, like my family, and you know, like have my own family, like my own kids later on. You know, because I would like that. You know, it's a blessing, and you know, and I know my wife really, you know, she loves kids, and you know, I love kids too, and you know, but you know, we would like to start our own family.
Yeah.
But you know, and but yeah, that's pretty much like my focus. Just like you say, you know, financially be stable, and just grow spiritually, and just, you know, just continue to living life, but you know, like according to like the way a godly person should, and, you know, because God's never gonna fail you,
Right.
no matter what.
That's true.
So yeah, man, just
Continue.
you know, continue, man. I mean, it's my life seems simple, but it's like I love my life. I love what we're doing. I love this, man, like podcasts, and you know, and I'm glad that you like reached out to me, and I was like, dude, I'm willing to do it, man, 100%.
That's
and
dope.
hopefully a part 2 is coming up,
Yeah,
man.
man. Let's do it.
And we can just interview more people, man.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Definitely
man.
would love to talk to that Francis dude.
Which friends, dude?
Not Francis.
Oh, Fisher.
Fisher.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Fisher.
All right, man. Augustine, thanks for doing this.
Thanks
God
for having
bless.
me, man. God bless you, man.
And definitely, bro, we'll do it. I'm just gonna watch. Close it out.
Cool.